Greetings and salutations, any viewers and also the players, to the 5th episode of Tales of TPK, A Journey into the Shadows. We join our players as they are a bit split up. We have Morgan and Kowèn having ventured a bit further up the stairs inside the temple to Iluntasuna, whereas Garrus and Navin have been forced to stay back behind a wall that is keeping them out of what looks to be an altar room. In the previous session, our players found Kristof, the friend to both Navin and Garrus that they were searching for in the middle of a haunted forest called the Wailing Woods. Just shortly after having found our dear Kristof, they also found a monster, which attacked them. And through both clever manipulation, awesome attacks, and a lot of luck, they managed to survive the abomination that attacked them. And instead of resting and going back home, they pushed forward into what then was a temple that they found. They have now survived several traps and puzzles, and we are going to start today off with not continuing, but rather looking over to an echo in the ether. A loud noise can be heard as an average-built man with flaming red hair slams his fists into the table in front of him. Now, of all times, of all the times! Another figure steps up to the table, looking at the regent of Altwick. Lord Herman, please, stay calm. Herman Bloodcart looks at his old friend and shakes his head. My brother was recently killed by power-hungry nobles. The army has been strategically sent to deal with the goblin advance in the Greenskin Crags, leaving most of the northern cities with half their usual garrisons. Then, as if those Subrahean knew this, he sends several bands deep into our lands and starts harassing our populace. Again, Herman slams his fist into the table, knocking several wooden figures over. Herman, the other man calmly says. We knew this was going to happen. There has been many attempts from the northern nobles to take over. Subrahean is only seizing the moment. We will endure, as we always have. Rickard, you have always been a good advisor to me. Herman looks him straight in the eye, pain clearly written within them. Why? A long pause where the two men look at each other, neither showing any expressions. Why did you betray me? I thought the Dackers were happy with the position. What have they promised you for usurping the throne? The lean man lowers his head, contemplating his next words. For the 25 years they've known each other, Rickard has never beaten Herman in a sparring match. He knew there was no way for him to escape. The Northern Throne, he quietly says. As Herman's sword leaves his scabbard, Rickard pulls his as well. The guards in the room start running towards the two men, but the king issues a simple command. Halt! I will not have you interfere. I will end this man's life. For even if he has betrayed me and the Empire, he has been a good friend, and he deserves death by my blade. The guards stop, unsure what to do. They resign themselves to intervening should it look like the king is about to lose. And there we leave the inner parts of the crystalline palace, and we return to our party. Now, last we had Morgan place his book upon an altar where an illusion was. As he placed this book on the illusion, it slammed open, shadowy tendrils start spreading out. And I need both Garrus and Navin to remove their headsets for this next part.
What?
I'm beginning to question the wisdom of my decision making.
You are.
I agree. So, the shadowy tendrils come up around both of you. And again, it feels calm. You don't feel stressed. You don't feel alarmed. You don't feel as if though something bad is going to happen. As you're standing there, frozen still with what is going on, you hear echoing either in the room or in your minds,
Morgan, Kowèn, it is a pleasure to meet you. Finally, we are able to speak, and I have a quest for you. It is I who am Eluntusuna, and I am the one giving you your powers, Morgan. And I so also happen to have your friend's soul here with me. And should I ever want it, I can sever the threads from Kowèn's soul to his body, and he will be stuck here with me. So I expect absolute obedience from the both of you.
what is the character's reactions to this?
Oh my god! Okay, that is not his reaction, but oh my god. Morgan, you can do yours.
I probably just processing this, like, character, player, same difference, just processing for an inordinate amount of time.
Yeah, and Kowèn, no, he just sheds a tear. Just completely stunned.
I have been locked away in the Shadow Realm, and I need you to allow me to come back into Orba. By gathering the fragments of my essence and putting it back together, you will allow me to return. The fragments are locked away in pieces that are now stopping the Shadow Realm from entering Orba. It was done by clever usage of magic by Alastan wizards 2 millennia ago. But as the worlds drift further apart, both realms will crumble. If you allow me to enter back, I can keep the Shadowfell away. Should you not, both of you will die, and the world itself will also crumble.
So, what is it you really want us to do in that case? Or what is it that you want?
Simply gather the pieces, put them back together, and that is good enough. Then the piece of me will be strong enough to allow me to return.
And what are you doing in that case?
I am slowly withering away in this place. I do not wish to stop existing.
At this point, I've managed to gain the use of my voice box and some of my composure back at this point, and am just completely jumping directly back into the irreverent and curious. It's like, well, I suppose it's fortunate we were going to do that anyway, but we will continue to do our best to do this, because I for one, have a vested interest in keeping the material plane material.
Whatever they tell you, I can only tell you what I know, which is, should the two dimensions be kept away from each other for longer, both will crumble. They need each other. Like a front side and the back side of any objects. Both are needed for both to exist. Once you have assembled the pieces, place them within the book, Morgan.
How big are the pieces?
They
the one
haven't been like the
wizard?
one that you have is not very big. Maybe the size of a palm.
I was picturing like clay tablet sized, like
Yeah, like
four
maybe
euro.
the full one is, but since you only have a piece of it.
You mentioned that. Do you have my soul?
You suddenly fall to your knees, unable to breathe. You feel how life is draining away from your body.
Yes, and if Morgan doesn't listen, he will watch his friend die.
And then you can breathe again.
I fall to my knees and start rapidly trying to resuscitate. What are you doing? Make it stop.
Yeah, no, like I said, Kowèn can breathe, and like it's just starting to cough and everything again.
Whilst I do not have the ability to enter Orba again without you or other help, I can do many things.
You don't need to threaten my friend.
The book starts fluttering and then shuts itself again. And we can have the others come back.
Oh my fucking god.
There you go.
Why don't you just server deafen them?
I could server deafen them,
Yeah.
to be honest. Yes,
Yeah.
I will start.
Then you could just
doing that instead.
undeafen them to signal.
Yeah. Maybe
Seeing
they're
like,
just-
oh, like, ah!
You mean me? No. I wasn't freaking out.
You fell out of your chair at one point.
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
So I think as like you two see nothing, like probably standing there and Garrus
Oh yeah,
out of
just seeing like the 3 different facial reactions that were going on the camera.
yeah,
Yeah,
probably
totally
like standing and I'm assuming out of curiosity examining this wall, and then suddenly as you're pressing, you feel how your hand goes through. You immediately look up. You see Kowèn on the ground, gasping for breath. Morgan standing above, like shaking and like trying to help Kowèn. Both are again colorized, but yeah, it
Is
looks.
the barrier still there?
No, it looks like Garrus. It's like the moment that you notice that the barrier is gone down there. What would you do, Garrus and Navin?
Navin probably runs to Kowèn to sort of help and make
Yep.
sure that he's all right.
I will pull you back over. No, I won't actually. Yep, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah, so you run up and
Yeah. Are you okay, Kowèn? What happened in there?
I think the best way to put it would be a magical debt from a previous employer.
I can't say I understand, but you're all right, I assume.
How versed are you in how the weave
Hello.
works?
Well, I don't know much about what all of you can do. I know it exists. I've seen it. It's helped me, but it is not for me. It's like a language I don't speak. I know that there are people who speak it, but it is completely gibberish to me.
It's like the debt of a moneylender, but with a bit more stakes.
I guess all that power has to come at a cost. But
Well, what fucking power is it that I have in that case? That's...
it's not for me to say.
If I knew...
Fuck.
If I knew there would be something I could do, but I don't.
You feel... no, never mind.
Do you need a break or a rest?
I think we'll be fine. Kowèn, do you need a minute?
No, I'm okay.
Keep searching and hope we don't run into any more debt collectors, I suppose. Yeah, I start walking away.
You guys know that there is only one other way that you haven't gone, technically two. One down the stairs where you found the skeleton bone, the prison parts, and then the other where the larger doors opened. Which one would you like to go to?
Now it probably goes towards the doors.
Yep. Okay, so as the party moves, Kowèn probably more silent than usual, but this one not the usual, like Kowèn uncertain, more Kowèn scared. Morgan is probably also contemplating, but not looking equally as scared, I would say. Probably more of like thoughtful expression. And this is also just Tim's interpretation. So if you have other, like how your characters would watch
Agree
or
with
see.
that. Are we supposed to have the map back at this point?
No, I have not put you back on the map. You walk past Kristof, and both Navin and Gareth probably look at him with a little bit of concern because he ain't looking too good. But as he said, like he's probably just not getting better at this point. It's like equally as bad. So you walk down the spiraling stairs to the two doors and the 40-feet corridor that you had in front of you. As you move down carefully, making sure that there's no traps, I would like just a party investigation, please.
How does that work?
Everybody rolls and I take the average.
Oh, okay. Okie dokie.
Excuse me.
Morgan rolling with advantage. Shit. That's fine. So 48, average of 12. As we are moving through, none of you really spot anything and see anything different. The walls are the same. The roof is all made of the same architecture. And as you move forward, the room opens up. And you find yourself in a 4x6 room where another vaulted door is in front of you. This one smaller than the one that you entered through at first. You see on your left as you enter this a dried out fountain, two different sized jugs, and on the other side a scale.
And no doors, right?
Yes, there is a door in front of you. I will pull you over. Like, it's not very interesting, but I will pull you over to where you are.
Are there any inscriptions anywhere?
Yes, there would be. On the... now, Tim just have to double check. I believe it would be pints. Probably. What's smaller than a pint? Like an ounce?
I don't know. A cup?
Yeah,
Quart.
a cup. A quart?
No, 2
Yeah,
cups and a
quart.
pint, 4 quarts and a...
I think
Yeah,
it's
so-
The
two
imperial
quarts and a
system is
pint.
dumb.
Yeah, I agree. Imperial system is dumb. So we'll just use deciliters. why not? So, on one of the jugs, it says 5 deciliters. On the other jug, it says 3 deciliters. On the scale, where you can clearly see a bowl, it says 4 deciliters. And you notice that it is connected to a winch that goes into the back. And in the bottom of the bowl, you see there is a, like a sink. There is like, it drains into it, it seems like. As you look on the fountain, you notice that this fountain ain't has been any fucking water in it, but rather blood.
That's fun.
I don't hesitate really. I just walk over and.
Oh, no. It's dried. There is no blood in the fountain.
Hey, but there has
No, I know.
Oh. Okay.
I'm gonna
Nice.
provide it with it. That's the thing.
Okay.
How many deciliters is in a human body?
So how it's worked, like, ignore the deciliters. It's just important that it's 5, 3 in the jugs and then 4 in the other one. So how it works is that you can fill 2 deciliters for 1 level of exhaustion.
Yep. I do that.
In which one?
I know how to solve it.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, if I see you raising a knife, I'm going to stop you and say, wait, I know how to solve this.
Right.
Because you
You've
have
seen
to...
this puzzle before? Or do you know what kind of
It's-
ritual this is? Is this...
It's not really a ritual, it's just simple mathematics.
Hmm.
There needs to be
Don't
4
know what that is, but I'll trust you on it.
Same.
numbers and the fiddling thereof.
Yes, yeah, it's like the,
We need
the
to fill
millennium
the
century. Yeah.
We need to fill the 5 all the way up to the top and pour it into the 3, leaving 2. We can pour the 2 into the 4. Do that a second time. 2 and 2 is 4.
Yes, but
That
the
means
question
only 10
remains where to get the blood from. No?
I will say this: you need to pour all the 4 in at the same time, and it needs to be exactly 4.
I got it. It's okay. Just tell me where to.
No, there's no reason for you to hurt yourself.
Oh.
Or any of us to be hurt, for that matter.
It's just a scale. Does it really have to be
You put
blood?
it all in at
Couldn't
the
we
same
just
time?
put whatever we want on it?
It is mathematically possible.
Navin goes to the scale and starts, pushing it a bit.
What is the weight of
You
blood
can go
compared
ahead
to
and
water?
roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Yeah. I kind of figured, but that's what Navin would do. It's like, what is this kind of? There we go. There.
You guys don't have good HP. Oh my
Cool.
god, no!
You touch it, and you see like black sparks a little bit, and then you just feel a winds in your brain as you take 3 psychic damage.
Ow.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend anyone do that.
I reckon that for anything but blood, it will respond in a simpler manner than.
So it was definitely magic and not mechanical damage.
Bloody hurt.
Well, that's
Water and
Did it-
blood are about the same weight.
What if you like?
Let's go get the bodies of those snakes.
I want to take like a hand axe and sort of throw it onto the scale. So like it lands, and I'm not touching it when it lands.
Okay, roll me an intelligence saving throw.
Yep.
Oh, good.
You take 1 point of psychic damage as you toss it.
DM, a couple of quick questions.
Sure.
What kind of snakes were those?
They were poisonous snakes.
But what kind of poisonous snake?
I don't know.
The snakes
A gaboon
bleed.
viper has way more blood than a coral snake because it's way thicker.
Sure, I don't know. I don't know my snakes, nor am I going to say that I know that my snakes. I know that D&D.
How
calls
much
them
blood do you think is in
poisonous
those snakes?
I don't know. You will have to go back up and see if there's anything at all there. Because remember, when the rooms were filled with water, you kill the snakes. Where do the snakes go when the water go away, you think?
We also hit them, so
Did
if
the
they
water
had
just
blood,
drain
it's
away?
probably
The
blood,
water
blood
did
away.
just drain away immediately after you finished the puzzle.
It's
So you
very
guys-
simple.
I hate to bring this up, but there is one other avenue, which might actually be related now that I think of it. The prisoner torture chamber also contained a way to go into a deeper floor. It may be, I hate to say it, but it may be possible to circumvent this
I
door
cut my
by
hand.
No, don't.
How much do you want to fill? So remember, 2 desolators would be 1 point of exhaustion.
Yeah. I do as well. I just cut my hand and hold out it and just hope that somebody points me in the right direction. I don't think about maps. I'm just cutting my hand, providing them with the blood, so they got to figure it out. That's basically what I'm doing. So
All right, Morgan. What are the size of the jugs again?
A 3 and a 5.
3 and a 5, and we need 4.
Yeah, we somehow need to take 1 off of 5 using 3.
Navin goes to one of
2 sets of 3 then.
I think the smaller ones and puts it underneath where the blood is flowing.
Sure.
Just to sort of start saving it before the academics just talk while Kowèn bleeds out.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you will have to decide how much, and then
I
you
just
guys
hold
can
it there.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
but
hold
like
it there,
for that, but this
Yeah.
like cutting the hand, it's going to be rather slow.
Yeah.
So you have time to think about this.
So basically, we can cut it, set it up to 3. It will be 1, and then filling up the rest. Cut it, set up to 3. That'll be 1 and 4. Yeah, fill up the 3 jug, and then fill. Sorry.
Just seems unnecessary. This might as well be like the place we tried to go in before where the snakes appeared. Might just be a dead end.
Well, it did
Yes,
end that opened a
but-
secondary passage.
Secondary passage didn't take us anywhere. We were worse for wear by then, and we do this and we go into another trap. Even worse for wear.
The door looks immensely like fancy and important.
Yeah.
The other doors that you have gone through so far have been wood or stone. The only other door that has been of some sort of metal was the one that you entered into the temple with.
Are there any decorations on like the door frame or like
Uh,
any imagery or like
yeah, there would
religious
probably
iconography?
be like again a yeah, sure, why not? You could, however, not read it, but yes,
No,
there
yeah.
would be things around which.
It looks like someone put a lot of work into it essentially.
Now Tim's getting like worried. Is his players looking at this thing on Google or something? Are they cheating?
Hands off.
I'm looking up how much blood is in the average snake.
Morgan doesn't know
If we
that.
fill up the jug, the 5 jug, empty that out. That'll give us with 2 liters. Can we store the blood, GM? Or no?
You have 2 jugs. That's it.
Yeah.
Using the 2 jugs and only the 2 jugs, and of course blood into them, you can make 4.
Yeah. You have to throw some out, but you can.
Okay, but we could also cheese it by getting 2 and then dumping out our water skins and storing it just to make 2 twice and then put 4
You
in the
can
five
try.
and then put
You
the
might
third.
get sapped.
Fair. Let's just try to logic this thing out. It can't be that hard. It's just
Out of character. Yeah, this is probably the best. So, while Kowèn is bleeding out on the floor,
No, it's slow.
no.
Like it's very slow.
so we have the 3 liter jug. We fill that
Oh,
up. We
fine.
just need 1 liter left.
3 deciliters,
Five.
but yes.
our end state would be
You'd have 4 in the one you want, and you would have the 4 in the 5.
the state where we can just solve it would be if we can get 1 alone in the 5.
Yes, yeah.
Well,
But GM, we aren't allowed to empty blood, right?
Probably do it in the
What do you mean,
fountain.
empty blood
If we
You mean just
pour
dump it
blood
on the
in, we
floor?
can't take it out. Yeah.
into the? Yeah, of course you can. I mean, if
My
you
guess
fill
is-
1, you can
my
pull them
guess is-
between each other and out. Of course you can.
My
Okay.
guess is that we just have to start over.
I mean, at this point, I think that it's like 1 deciliter in the 3 at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you haven't started with anything.
Yeah, and you can always, even if you fill the 3 deciliter one, you can always pour it into the 5 and fill it to 5.
Like Simon, if you know this, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's fine that you tell them now.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for not helping out at all. I hate math, so.
So
Tell them, Simon.
Yeah. So you have 5. So you essentially want to take 5. You fill up a 5. You put it into the 3, which gives you 2 remaining in the big jug. Then you essentially have to get rid of the 3 deciliters. You probably dump it into the fountain. And then
But if we dump it in the fountain and it's wrong, we'll get zapped.
Oh, sorry,
there's another fountain.
Yeah,
And
there's
that is also that doesn't.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
there's an.
Yes, there is a dried out fountain behind you where there has probably been blood before.
Wait, can we store blood in the fountain or
No, it drains away,
Okay.
and also scraping blood up.
We should try, instead of dumping it in the fountain, we should try to like save it in a vial or something so we don't have to bleed more than we have to.
I think GM that
You
Based on the way
don't
this
know
set
the
up.
exact measurements on that vial. You haven't checked the exact measurements before.
Okay.
we have 2
but-
jugs to work with.
But what I was going to say is, 1, with water, we could check the measurements using the jugs, and 2, if
How
we
are you
just
going
have...
to check the measurements exactly with, like, again,
Oh,
if you
I
start
figured it out.
filling
Fill
one,
up the
then,
5
like,
jug,
just
move 3 ounces over.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Never
fill
mind.
up the...
no, that works. That works. That's one of the start. There's 2 solutions for this.
5...
One where you start filling the 3, which you're already doing.
So
Okay,
you pour,
so
pour it into that. Yeah.
We can't hear you.
we have a 3, we have a 5. We're currently filling the 3 up. How do we get it to be only 1 somewhere in the 5 or in the 1?
Pour the 3 into the 5, and then
Okay,
you
we
pour
pull
another,
the entire 3 into the 5. Now we have 3 and 0. What do we do
Yeah.
then?
You fill the 3 liter one. There's a liter
We
one
fill
with
the 3
another
again?
3. Yeah.
And then we do what?
You pour it over into the big one.
Into the big one. We have now 5 and 1. What do we
Yeah.
do? We the 5
Yeah.
and
Put that
1.
in, and then
And
then
then
DM, hush, I was figuring it out myself.
Well, I mean, I wasn't the one. It was Simon. this time, so. So
you can also do it the other way, like you said, with the,
with this trick, we are going to need 10 deciliters of blood.
Yeah.
9 technically, but it's going to
One-
count. So that
so
is going
1
to
liter.
count in between of you 5 points of exhaustion. You guys dally that out however you want, but you will have 5 points of exhaustion between you.
How many exhaustion will kill you?
5.
so no one can take all of it, unless they really want to sacrifice themselves.
Oh, win.
I can take 2.
So 1 is disadvantage on ability checks and
Okay, what-
throws, I believe 2 is halved speed.
Yeah,
3 is disadvantage on attacks.
Yeah.
I'll take 2.
Navin, Navin can take 2 as well. So one of the
Kowèn, do you
point
have
remaining.
any spell slots left or anything of that sort? It's probably best for me to take the 2.
I guess if you take 1 deciliter each, would they still get the 6
Round
exhaustion?
up.
Okay, it's fair. That's fair.
I'm
I'm
fairly
not
sure I've
going to
got
be
most spell slots left.
I have 0. Can we fill that out in the character sheet? I don't see where we do it.
I think
there
Exhaustion
should be
points?
something under like exhaustion.
Yeah, but I can't see it.
I think you have to show it. It's not on by
No,
default. I
these
think.
sheets are quite bad with that, to be
Oh.
honest.
Okay.
I will freely recommend the. I think it's shape
other sheet,
sheets?
yeah.
It has
Uh,
exhaustion tracking. If you go to the settings, you can have show
Okay.
exhaustion tracking on. Yeah.
Oh.
Where? In...
You go to cogwheel
right
and then
side?
right side above the
Yeah.
character
There we
balancer.
go. Go back to core, and we see exhaustion level 2. There we go.
Oh, thank you.
Cool. So, Kowèn takes 2.
Navin takes 2 as well.
Navin takes 2. Ooh, that's nice. So we have 2 people with halved speed. I mean, and then
we also
which
have
of the wizards takes the last? Garrus. it looks like.
Garrus will.
Yep. Okay. So,
Okay.
with the swoosh and the swiggity and the swoop, you take now the 5 with the 4 ounces of blood. All of you, except Morgan, are looking very like, that's a lot of blood. You walk over, you start pouring it, and you pour it in one swig, like one entire just the thing just like waits until it's 4, and then probably like through some Pythagoras cup thing starts sucking the blood away, and you hear the door start clanking and shrieking until the blood is all away, and the what do you call it? Like the roll? What the fuck would you call this mechanism? The spinner thing?
What are you
Wheel,
talking
cogwheel,
about?
or the cogwheel, or
Weird.
The wheel on the like vault
Water
doors.
wheel?
No, the
Oh.
wheels
Oh.
on the vault
The-
door.
It's just the handle. It's a
Is it really called handle?
I guess
Yeah.
it's a-
Okay, sure. The large
the thing you
hand
spin on a vault
that
door.
looks like a ship's steering wheel does one, and that's it.
Yeah,
Then
Navin
you
walks
guys
up.
have to.
Yeah, Navin walks up to the handle and
Yep.
tries to either push or pull, and it's probably the wrong. In the first one, it's
Neither.
always the wrong
It looks
way
like
to try.
it looks like it's still shut, but as you try you pull that around, and as the door opens, you see inside a carpet, just a bit forward. You probably feel like it has a bit of a pull with it, probably because shut-in air and pressure and such. So as you pull it, there's a bit of a whoosh coming out and like rushing up and out. It smells very closed in, very dry, and yeah, that's about it. What you can see from where you are.
Well, then I suppose we head on in and see what we find. Look for traps.
I don't think any of us are really in a state to pay too much attention to that right now. Good luck, Morgan.
Morgan's going around there like, I'm all good. Send him first. Sacrifice him.
It'll be like the dodging last time, like 2 people dodge and the third one's.
Yeah, you step in. You notice the church benches on either side of the room. You notice how in front of, like in the middle, there is an altar. There is not a book that's shown on the screen, but it's an altar. Probably, one of these ceremonial where a person stands behind and just blah, 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 blah. You do see behind that altar a very large statue, probably 25 foot tall. Again, a very testosterone pose of a humanoid with a cloak. You can't see the face. You see several tendrils going out behind. And with your light, the one thing that you haven't thought of until now, but you do because it's such a big shape, and you realize it, none of the statues depicting Ilan Tsuna has had a shadow. So even from all the light behind on the wall or anything, there's no shadow. On top of the statue, you also see a out of place circle, almost. It would be almost as though it has a Gloria standing up, but it's looking weird. It's made out of what looks to be tree, and there's probably some, not flowers per se, but leaves that are still alive on it, and it looks very out of place, but it's just sitting on top of there. In addition to, after now that you have all stepped into the room, Garrus, you feel like a slight squeeze on your shoulder, not a this hurts, but more of a friend that would take you on the shoulder and squeezing, be careful kind of squeeze. Kowèn, it's as if though the book is absent at this point. Navin, yes, Navin, you feel just sense of danger in this room. And Morgan, you just feel drawn to the room. Not the statue, but you feel drawn to the center of the room for some reason.
The center of the room?
Mm-hmm, the center of the room.
Basically where I am right now?
Yeah, no, a bit more forward, 1 or 2 steps, but it's keeping you drawn, and you're not certain why.
Like,
Yes.
I look
How
at Morgan and I want to see if the book is with him.
Absolutely is.
It is?
Yes, but you are feeling batshit afraid anyways.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch it.
Him or the book?
The book.
Okay, you touch the book.
it's in the bottom of my bag currently. That's where I keep it.
So probably like that from
Okay.
underneath. It doesn't help.
Like
You are feeling like you feel the book. You know it's there. And you're feeling bad anyways. As you have
Tracks.
stepped in at this point, let me see if I can see that from Morgan's perspective. I can. Top left or bottom left, technically, there is a raised plateau, maybe 10 feet off the ground. You would also see that it does extend into a passageway up there somewhere. No door, just like an open passageway in. You don't see any apparent like ways up to this plateau, except for climbing the statue, perhaps. And there are, you would see like nice shares. And as for how drawn you are, Morgan, just like imagine you're waking up in the morning and like somebody is saying like come to me, and like you're a bit disoriented but you hear it and you kind of want to go there but you can't, kind of deal.
Weird.
I don't like this place. There's something
I-
off about it.
I tend to concur. But
Go ahead.
I take a step forward and begin to look around the room.
Yep.
Morgan,
Do I need to like roll an investigation check or something?
What are you looking for, first off?
Just like general trying to figure out why I'm feeling this way.
I mean, looking around the room, you see absolutely nothing. And as you're moving away from the center, you start feeling drawn towards the center again. Garrus, I need you to make me a strength saving throw.
my favorite!
Yes, I know.
Is that with disadvantage or is that just ability checks? It's
That is just
checks.
ability checks.
Not that it matters,
Not
but
that it matters.
just
I mean-
wanted to check.
It's more...
I don't know what's going on with my sheet. It's taking a while to load.
It might also just be roll 20. You can
Yeah.
roll me just a d20 in the chat if you want. Meanwhile, you have what, a -2?
Something low, yes. Yeah, it's roll 20. I'm not even seeing the result of the
Okay.
roll yet.
Let's see
Weird.
if I
What
can
browser are you
roll.
using?
Yeah.
I'm using Firefox.
It's probably a road just having a fit. As you're standing about, you're kind of observing the whole thing. You felt like this squeeze on your shoulder. You suddenly feel how it pushes you forward. And you are so caught off guard by this that you go down onto your knees. And then you feel like how it's almost pulling you forward. Like trying to get you to move, Garrus.
Towards the statue? Or
Where would you have? It wouldn't probably be towards the statue if you fall and it's on your right shoulder. It would probably just be like general frantic pulling you this way.
I can't even see.
Yeah,
Where
imagine
you're
like
pinging on
to the
roll
right, towards the statue, but not necessarily like straight towards it. Just like a general trying to yank you away.
Garrus will grab his shoulder, stand up, take a few breaths to calm himself, and continue looking about the room.
Okay. You still standing in the same spot?
No, just moving about, just
Okay.
trying to get some distance.
General wandering.
Okay.
I'd like to look
yeah.
behind this. I can't remember the word
Altar?
for it. The
Dais.
thing. Dais. Thank you.
Yeah.
And look behind it
it's
to see if there's like.
stone. It is
Just, like,
entire
curiosity.
stone. Yeah. You look through it, and you can probably see, like, from this part that you're standing, and especially with the runes of the eyes of the runekeeper, not the eyes of the.
Fancy warlock
Eyes of the
eyes.
Runekeeper.
Exactly, eyes of the. You probably see like a little, is it called sermon? Like, praise our
Sermon, mantra,
mantra, like
scripture,
praise our Lord Iluntasuna, the
psalm.
King of Shadows. May he reign forever.
Looking up at this statue here, you said there was a raised dais, right, or something of that sort?
The dais is here, and then it's
yeah.
like on its head, there's this weird thing that is entirely out of place, like not meant to be there, very apparent.
I'm going to try and... There isn't an obvious way to make our way up there, right?
Yeah, there would be like just climbing on the tendrils and such. You can definitely make your way up there.
I'll take a deep breath and give a shot at it.
Okay, yep. You start climbing. It's just a bit slow. You take your time and you get up. Let's say that here would be the line of where it is. So you would probably get up here. Like, it is possible to walk around up here like this. So as you get up here, you see this, again, like wooden circle almost. And as you're getting up here, you're kind of looking. It's hovering a bit above its head. Like maybe 2-3 inches.
The dais up here, it seems to be enchanted in some manner. Something really stupid, and I'm going to blame Morgan for it if it goes bad. I'll try and get on the dais.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a dais. Like I said, it's like on top of the statue's head, there is an upraised, like vertical circle of wood. So you can go through it, you can look through it, you can poke it. However, climbing it would be another 10 foot up, and it looks extremely unstable, and there is no like clear ways of climbing.
So it's just a floating wooden platform, it looks like.
Not a platform, it's a hollowed out circle. Like imagine like how you would see any like fairy like portals or shit like that, like from any sort of game, where you have the wooden circle. It's nothing in it. It looks like a portal for us, like players.
Alright. Relay that information to the rest of the party. Does it sound like anything you would know, Morgan? Any idea what its applications might be for a temple like this?
Perhaps. I've heard tell of groups using these to perhaps feign miracles, like produce fire sparks, something to make the masses go, ooh. I'm not sure.
Seems like a lot of trouble to go through enchanting this platform, though, if it's only for, how do you say, magical effects, more or less.
Garrus, again, you have been standing still in quite some time. You feel the tug on your shoulder again. This way, probably.
Damn you, let me work.
Huh?
Nothing. Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Do you stand still?
I will start pacing around the dais, just looking up, trying to figure out what the applications of this raised thing is, and if it's possible or not to get a closer look at it.
I mean, you are standing at, like, the bottom of this thing is at your foot. So it is, like, in your face. Like, you would be able to just step through it if you wanted. So it is easy to inspect. Like, okay, so let's imagine this. I'm going to paint from the side here. Like, here is the statue's head. It's very nice. And then on top of the statue's head would be like a wooden circle like this.
So orientation is up and down, not side to side.
Yeah, this is up, but down, this is down, and like up. So this would be just like looking at it from one side. So you would be able to walk around on top like you are here. and you can look through this thing if you want to. So as you start moving, yep. Go ahead.
I'll try putting just a finger through, see if anything
From this
happens.
end, you nothing happens.
Take a step.
From this side into this. Okay, nothing happens. Like, you step through, you feel nothing, you turn around, and you freeze. As you're looking through this thing from this side, you see the room as if normal, except for one thing. 15 foot above the center of the room, you see a elongated rift. And from said rift, straight towards you, you see several long, shadowy arms stretching out. You probably see some towards, like, you probably see, like, one on Kowèn, one on Morgan, and some stretching towards Navin.
Do we feel that? No.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm guessing that's the draw. Is that the ethereal plane?
So there are several long arms coming from this rift that wasn't there before, stretching
Yes.
out to all of us at this point.
As you look on the other side of the circle, it's not there. As you look through the circle, you can see it.
All right, I think that explains a lot.
Hold on, my internet decided to cut out for a second, and I missed what you said. Could you repeat that?
I said, like, it's as he looks around the side, he doesn't see it. As he looks around, he doesn't see it, but as he's looking through the circle, he sees this rift. And it's a very tiny rift.
Are there any arms on me currently?
No, it's stretching. And the moment that it gets too close, you feel the, like, thing on your arm, like, pulling you away from the other arms.
All right, I'm going to shout down to the rest of the party. We need to leave here. There's a rift in the Shadowfell. Something's attaching to each of you. In particular, Kowèn, you should probably leave immediately. I can see it latching onto you right now. Navin, dodge left a few feet from me.
I go a bit
Just
to the left.
start relaying.
You
I
start
go.
moving.
I try to move back.
Yep. Yeah, you can move back.
Should we not try to close it if we can?
You know how to close a rift in the Shadowfell.
I have gone with Kristof once before, and we managed
You
to
do?
close one.
Oh. Would my character know how?
Nope.
Well, how do you close a rift in the Shadowfell?
Hard to explain. I don't know
Kristoff's already in a too weakened state, I think, to risk him being engaged with this too much. We'll ask him about it. He
We might have to come back at
honestly
another
probably
time.
knows more.
We know it's here.
It was Kowèn that I saw the hand on, right?
Oh, on Morgan as well.
I will tell Morgan
Kowèn,
that he also has one, and he probably
You
just-
feel
I
how
still
you
think we should...
wait. Stop. Kowèn, as you have moved away, you feel how your feet start dragging toward the center of the room, without you moving. Something is pulling you towards the center.
Oh, I'm trying my best to stay
Yeah?
away from there.
Oh,
I'm
you
gonna
can
try.
stay away, but the moment that you like relax a little bit,
Yeah.
you just start pulling. And I think at this point, Morgan, you feel how your feet kind of starting to lift as you're just standing and talking.
Okay, I just pace around there
Yep.
and trying to get away.
Yep.
Okay, at minimum, we need to leave this room. I really want to know what's down this passage.
You get about there, and then you get pulled back. Morgan.
The
5
pull
foot.
gets stronger the farther I get away from the thing.
Yep.
I try to let
Oh,
go
crap.
where he walks, and also to see if I get the same thing and if it pulls me
Yep.
as well.
As Garrus can see, nothing so far has attached itself to Navin.
Navin,
Yeah.
since you're probably the strongest in here, try to drag the other two out. I'll keep an eye on the
I
hands to
sort of
make sure
extend
none
my
of them
hand
attach.
to Morgan.
Yep.
I
Remember
keep the hand.
that part is like 10 foot up that you're standing at. So you would need to get 10 foot up there. And for Navin, I think that it would be... Kowèn, you cannot leave the room.
Okay.
Navin, you would know that Kristof has a specific set of components that he can use for. He usually has them on him.
Yeah.
You saw the same pouch. You know how to go through the ritual by yourself, even though it's not a guarantee.
Yeah.
The guarantee would be to wake him up and to allow him to do it.
Yeah.
But you're uncertain at this point if you could do it. But no matter what, you need the things.
Yeah. I think we need to get to Kristof. I think that's foremost. He will know if we should try and close it or not, if he's strong enough.
I'd agree.
Well, the problem remains that we should still try and at least get these two out of this room, correct? Or...
Yeah, we should all get out of here. There's no sense in staying here.
I would rather leave the room, yes.
It might be good for us to drag them out then and see if that might be able to break the connection. If not, that is our only recourse of action.
Yeah. Otherwise, I can always go and get the components potentially, but I don't want to leave the room and risk the door closing behind me. Yep.
Maybe that passage with the grate in the other floor provide a way to circumvent this room as well.
Maybe.
If it's some sort of refuse pit, they probably connect.
Regardless, first things first. We need to get both Morgan and Kowèn out of here.
Right, let's try it. Dragging them or helping them as much as possible to see if they can get out with assistance.
I will keep an eye on the shadow hands and make sure none of them grab Navin, navigating them as I need to.
Yeah. You try to pull them.
Yeah. Without hurting them, obviously. I mean, I don't want to rip their arms off. Yeah, but it's not possible, I suppose.
No. Kowèn probably at this point gets pulled in as well.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get away, but you can't.
I think the choice has been made for us. I will get the components and what the items we should need. Hopefully Kristof has them. I will be back momentarily. And I run out the door and up to...
I need you to roll me an dexterity save.
Yeah.
As Garrett, you can roll with advantage. As Garrett saw the arms kind of lunge for you, but you dodge out of the way just barely. You run up the stairs. As Kowèn walking, you start feeling like yourself being properly pulled in towards the center.
Okay, I don't like that.
Yeah. I move
I
as
don't
fast
like
as
it at
possible.
all.
Just getting like
I'm
super
going
exhausted.
to vainly try throwing a firebolt at one of the hands. I'm assuming it does nothing.
Roll me an attack.
A fireball or bolt?
Bolt. No, a fireball. Yeah, I can totally cast fireballs.
Making sure.
Try with a little flame and then more flame if necessary.
So yeah, roll 20 is throwing a fit, so I'm just gonna roll with my attack mod.
I'll just start running
Let's
up the
see,
stairs.
3 plus 2, 5.
And that same no blood level, just super exhausted, sweating just a few steps. Don't exercise after you give blood. That's all I'm
Maybe
saying.
you should try to close the thing. Fuck me, why was it playing the other music after I had stopped it as well?
I don't know. It just started for some reason, but yeah. I'll tell you if it changes again.
YouTube is going to be like, you are playing music that you don't own.
Yeah, there is a possibility of that.
Yeah,
Even
but
Switch.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
But yeah.
Is anybody else's roll 20 lagging out to a huge extent, or is that just me?
Last time it was pretty bad, but I think maybe that was the
I will
browser.
roll the attack for you. 8 plus
What browser are you using?
13. You chuck out a firebolt towards it, and you notice all of you see this firebolt, even though it's passing through. Even from the bottom, you see this firebolt passing through and hitting the wall on the other end. Navin runs and comes back. It's not too far. You, as you come to Kristof, you see he has the bag, but it's probably if you're gonna get that off him, he's probably gonna wake up.
Yeah,
lost everyone at this point.
Yeah, I basically just start grabbing for it and expect him to wake up and.
Yeah, he's like, oh!
Sorry.
He looks. He's like, Navin, what the fuck?
There's no time. There's a rift.
Like, you see his eyes just open. What? And like, he tries to get up.
Yeah.
and
You
just,
stay here.
No,
No.
no,
Yeah, I take
no.
the component and just run.
Like, Navin, if you fuck it up, we're fucked.
Tell me that when I get back.
You run back and you probably hear him, like, you hear the chair,
Yeah.
like, on the ground, as though, like, he's moving with the chair. And you run down, and I think at this point, Morgan would be about here, Kowèn about here. As for where the rift is, it's like up here in the air. Navin comes
we
like
see it?
rushing in. No.
Oh,
Only
okay.
Garrett.
Okay.
Navin comes rushing in. He puts down the bag, pulls it open, pulls out four different colored candles, slaps them around himself, starts like putting salt, sand, charcoal, like different components around in various patterns, as you then hear him chant in a weird-ass language that none of you have heard before, I'm pretty certain. And Navin, I need you to roll me an intelligence check thrice.
Disadvantage because I'm exhausted, right?
Yes, because it's checks.
Yeah.
Garrus wouldn't be familiar with this ritual, right?
No.
Can?
Actually, yes. You would have seen this ritual done before, up in the
Could
mountains.
I help?
No.
So if it doesn't work this time,
I'm
could
helping.
Oh.
I'm helping. I'm
I
giving you a
finish
challenge.
with
help?
the guidance cantrip?
You have no idea what it's done. Like, any interference might fuck it up further. Like, if you do or say the wrong thing to interrupt it, like, magical mishaps equals
Guidance.
bad. Yes, but guiding him as he's sitting inside a magical circle where he's performing a ritual, you don't know the implications of that.
Navin, are you sure you know what you're doing?
I don't respond. Fully focused.
You see that what he's doing is not the same. Like, you notice similar patterns. He's using different components that you saw the wizards using from the mountain where you were dragged in. As like Kristof comes in, like Navin is about to utter the last words, and you just hear him over voice Navin and just call out like the end of the incantation as you hear it. And you see how the entire room just shifts, and the hands get cut off as the rift shuts itself.
Yeah.
Immediately, Kowèn, you feel this fear just like leaving yourself, and you return to like feeling how the book is closed. And Morgan, you like land back on your feet again. You stop feeling this like drawn attention to it, and Garrus, like the arm has stopped pulling you.
Okay,
As
that's good. That's very good.
Kristof just kind of slops back down as he's like come in, and he's like, Evan.
I also sit down, just sweat covered and sort of like shaky, like. Told you I could do it.
He just looks at you as he's lying like on the floor. If you would have finished that sentence. I heard where it was going. You were repeating the first. You were about to make a grave mistake.
Good thing you were here.
What the hell? What was a rift doing here?
I don't know.
Morgan, Kowèn, are you two all right?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm doing great.
It caught them and they couldn't escape it. I just couldn't leave it, and you were as you are now, Kristof. I had no choice. But good you made it in time.
I understand. Yes. May take some damage for this. He kind of sits up on the chair. Oh. Have you looked through it all now?
Can we
You look
leave?
up-
There's
I do
just
think
one.
that might be the best course of action. I'm not prone to seeing whatever refuse pit is down there.
Also, from the top, Garrus, it was a very easy, like, it wasn't even a jump. You could just, like, walk off onto this platform here
What
if you wanted.
platform?
This
what are you
platform
talking
that I
about?
have been talking about.
The balcony
This,
to the south.
the balcony.
Alchemy.
Yes,
There's a balcony here?
Here. Yes, there is.
Yes, that's what that line is.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yes, there is. Okay.
So
Is it-
he kind of sits there. I think I need a proper healer.
I sit down next to him.
We've closed the rift, so I don't really see what else we need to do here.
But we don't know what's farther in here. There could be another rift. There could be an explanation as to why there even was a rift here.
We can always come back. Immediate danger has passed. I've never seen more than one rift in one location. And even if there was,
No.
I don't think we could face another.
The rifts, they gather and make each other bigger. So if there would be two within a certain radius, they would both come together in the middle and get bigger.
Just grows.
There could be an explanation as to why there was one here in the first place.
Who the fuck
Probably.
cares about that right now?
Your curiosity is a little interesting.
You see, like, Kristof, after having spent a long-ass time talking to Kowèn, just looks to Kowèn with
Yeah.
that, like, Morgan, you have probably heard, like, Kowèn, like, speak like that 2 or 3 times, and that's, like, very different Kowèn. Garrus, you see it continuing maybe another 30 foot, and then take a left. You can see how the light just disappear as you hear like steps as Garrus is moving away.
The light source.
No, Morgan still has light as
Ah.
well. And Kristof is like, even if you want to leave, Kevin, your friend has wandered off.
Yeah, no.
Could you help me
By
back?
the way, I can't see anything right
No,
now.
I know, because it's on another map.
I
so
see.
What I will do...
Oh crap.
No, you stay where you are.
I still don't like this. I don't like any of these There hasn't been a good development in a long time. I miss when there were good developments. Remember when there were good
So,
developments?
GM, there's not a... Oh, sorry for cutting you off.
Yep, this is where you are, Mr. Garrus.
There's only one balcony up there, right?
Yes, only one balcony with one space. So now Tim is going to have to go through to fix. Yeah. So Kristof asks to be pulled like back to the place. Like he said that to Kowèn.
Yeah. I try.
Yeah, like you can move and you can get out of the room and you help him up, knowing healing you like can. So like move him without him getting completely fucked up.
Yeah.
Have you been changed, by the way, Garrus? Oh, sorry, did I pull the wrong person out? Over. No, I pulled the wrong person.
I think so. I'm here in this black void. Everyone should be on the map right now.
Nope,
Right.
they shouldn't, because I
the only
will
one
put
up there.
light back on, though, because I forgot to give this light here. There we go.
I'm seeing
One of the best
3
options to
people.
follow.
Yeah, but they on the left side, like they aren't there. I've only pulled you over here. It's just their
Alright.
tokens.
Looking through this doorway, do I make out any
There's no
distinguishing
doorway,
features?
just open. Just a corridor.
No writing on the wall, no.
No
torch
writing on the
stones.
walls, very empty.
Alright. Continue wandering down here, keeping
Yep.
my eyes peeled.
Eventually, you will find yourself 2 doors. Shut. You are uncertain if they're locked. You guys have seen how the light from Garrus has left the corridor, and you can't see it anymore.
Alright, double back and inform the party that there seems to be a chamber further in. Looks like a
Next
set
time
of
say
2 doors. I'm not sure if it's locked or not.
Next time, say something before just leaving. First off. Second, I do think it is the correct move to at least... The devil you know is way less dangerous than the devil you don't.
Regardless, might be a priest quarters of some sort. It might be
Why
good to take a look.
is the cam shaking?
Did you say there were lights?
No, no lights.
Well, what do you say, Kowèn? Do you think we should at least see the last chamber through?
Am I there?
Is on the map, you're in the room with me.
Kowèn has moved.
Yeah,
out.
I've
Kristof.
moved with Kristof.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, on the map you're still with Navin.
I know.
Yeah,
But it's
don't-
for the stream.
Morgan, Navin, would you mind backing me up as I take a look at this room?
Don't really want to keep going with Kristof in the condition he is right now.
If there is another rift here,
You know,
we need to address it.
I'll go with you.
what if there's another trap and we get locked there? I don't like it.
I don't either,
We
but I don't
won't
see.
pull any mysterious levers.
I don't think a mysterious lever is going to be necessary at this point. But in for a penny, in for a pound, as they say.
I think levers are the only problems we have down here, but...
What's
How many
a penny?
rooms? Levers.
It's an odd tweaking expression. Don't worry about it too much.
How many doors and rooms would you wish to continue? What if there's hundreds, thousands of rooms? When is enough enough? When is a curiosity sated?
When there is nothing left to find.
So an uncountable number of rooms and doors. We might well be skeletons by then.
One
To put
more
a number
room.
on it, I would say if there is more than 2 exits to the next room, we should come back later. That's the number.
Say we have a dying man, and rooms will not wither away. Rooms will not age. They will remain. Say you to that.
As an archaeologist, I can see you're pretty categorically wrong, but
Well,
I would agree. I think it would be wise to come back later. I would just... Too many times I have left a place thinking it would be there later and found it robbed.
The rift we found was already small enough. There's a risk of a larger rift being present here.
well
Think of the bodies that were already left here, Navin.
it's a very sealed room. We haven't seen anyone else really alive in here, but Kristof probably needs a break or a rest, but only to recover from his recent...
I will allow
Okay.
Morgan to here roll me a history with advantage because it comes to archaeology.
So we can keep going for a bit, but not too long. You're free to stay if you wish, but give it a bit of more time, and I will take Kristof and leave and get him to safety.
20.
Advantage.
Right. I can never remember to click that button.
Yep. 20.
27.
Alright, that's
No,
a
no,
little.
no.
Well,
First roll
technically it's
is
2
the-
20s, but yeah.
So when you opened this room, air came out up from inside up to where you were, meaning that because there isn't a door to the corridor up there, you would assume that whatever is up there is a very closed space, because the rest of the temple, there hasn't been any doors which has been sealed, and there has been a different pressure on both sides. So
I see.
most likely it's not a very big space on the other side, and if so, it would be like massively cut off from the other part, and
Mhm.
then, but from your own archaeological knowledge, it shouldn't be too much.
So I relate to him, and just from experience, this ruin feels nearly done. I can feel it in the air. There's not much space past this door. Way.
Well,
What are you
regardless,
talking about? How can you even get that so big?
you know more than me in these matters, but again, I don't really care how much or how long we search. We just need a bit more time, and I'll help you to search, but I won't stay here for hours.
Of course not. I don't want hours either. It's just minutes at most.
Thank you, friend. One more room and we'll be done.
So we have to climb up the statue, I guess, to get to the balcony.
How high is this balcony compared to the rest of the room? Is a good
2 seconds.
question.
10 feet up. And the room itself is 35, 40. So yes, you climb up the statue and you jump off the statue. You walk off the statue onto the balcony, but we're just going to cut over to Kristof and Kowèn for a moment as they are moving up the stairs. Kristof is kind of like hanging on to... I will just put this as well. Hanging on to Kowèn, coughing. Thanks. You're saving me again.
They saved you. Yeah. So, and
Kind of looks at you.
you're doing just fine. Does that help?
Being told that I'm doing fine? No.
No.
But I would almost say that in terms of damage, you're more damaged than I am.
Yeah.
What was that in there before I heard the voice? You seem to have some vigor left in you. Something that hasn't been shattered by that fool Demas, or what you called him.
Well, I mean, I just traded one master for the next, I guess, so I don't really know what to do right now. So,
Kind of nods.
did you hear that?
He listens. Oh.
Then what are you talking about?
Did you ask if he heard you speaking differently? Or
Oh, okay, that's what I meant. Then I
Yeah.
get it. Okay, yeah.
I mean, haven't you just given up? Don't you want it back? Your life?
I do.
Then
That's the only reason that I'm alive. Otherwise, I would have, found a good way to take care of it myself.
nods. Are you expecting your friends or your masters to take it back for you? Because it seems to me that you're just a ragdoll at this point. When you're like this. Somebody that doesn't even have his own will. And you expect to get your life back like this? I've seen soldiers like you on the front line. They are the first to die. Always. But those with a will, those with a wish and a dream, those are the ones that live. Those are the ones that get things done, and from the looks of it, Kowèn, we all need to get something very important done. And if you carry on being a weakling, your friends will die.
Yeah. Yeah, but what am I supposed to do? Am I mean, I'll do whatever they need me to, of course. And
He stops and takes you and pulls you close.
okay.
You need to trust yourself and your own damn decisions. Because if there ever comes a day when you are forced to make a decision and you think that you can wait for Morgan's help, you might end up losing something instead. Trust in yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I do. I did. But last time I did, I I killed a person, and because that felt good. That felt like something I was supposed to do, and I killed her, and so I don't trust myself. No, I really don't. But
You
I
kind of see his eyes at this point, like almost closing, like he's on the verge of
oh whoa.
going
Okay,
unconscious.
okay. I've seen that.
Like
eye bit.
shakes.
There we go, and I'll put him down.
Like you put him down.
Yeah.
I have killed more people than I can count. Some of them felt good. I don't think that makes me bad, he says as he like kind of falls asleep.
Yeah, I'll just make sure that he doesn't fall over and
Yep.
I don't know, suffocate or something like that.
Do you say anything to him, or do you just leave him? You know, like those final retorts out loud that some people do, answering after.
No.
How does Kowèn feel when he sees this pretty random person telling him this? I mean, you did have a very deep talk, but
I mean, very fucking conflicted, but at the same time not as beaten down as he previous might have been. Like the things that were said in the chamber kind of freaked the fuck out in him, but this kind of puts him a little bit on the right path again.
Yep.
I would say so. So yeah, I'd
oh, have you muted your? No, your mic on stream is just very low. That's why.
Oh, it
it's
is?
different.
Oh.
Yeah, it's different volumes. Okay. So over to the other three fucks. After you have gone up onto the onto the statue and such, you get yourself into this corridor, and Kowèn will be here just for stream so that they can see. Garrus shows you down to here, where you see the two doors, and behind it, you don't know what it is. It does also continue forward further, and you do see another bend up there, maybe even a staircase.
What do you think the odds are that this door also has a trap behind it, and that this entire thing was just one elaborate prank?
Well,
Six out of
I'd say
10.
on the
Really
lower end of
likely.
average.
Somebody who's less tired than me should probably check the door for traps.
Hmm?
Can I cast guidance on myself before I make the
Yes.
perception check?
You can. This is one of the instances where it's perfect because you know that you're about to do something, so you cast guidance and then you do it. So yes, make
I'm
an
going to
investigation check.
So I'm going to cast guidance on this investigation check. Standard check, no advantage, correct?
Yep.
Would someone want to help me and give me advantage?
They can't because
we're
they are
disadvantage already.
That makes sense.
Just standing like on the water.
Yeah. Yep, and plus a d4. I think it comes to this point because Morgan has like the light on him as well. So as you walk up, like the door, it's not made to be shut. It's just there for like being there, more or less.
Having a big door.
Almost like you get up to it and you see like as your lines shine through, you see like a room. You see a skeleton sitting in a chair, and like you see a book in front of the skeleton. And this is the first skeleton that you have seen as well. Everything else has been gone. And like your curator also is like, I want to go through, and then you're like, no. Gotta check that door very thoroughly, like painfully thoroughly. And like when you have made sure that like this is just absolutely nothing more than just a door, open them and you watch into what looks to be like the treasure chamber / the chamber for the like upper people. And now if chat wants to help out, we are going to roll on the treasure loot table, and chat can add
Ooh.
d6s to your d100 roll. That will be done. So any
No, it's the kind of table where higher stuff is better.
Not enough points. Damn it!
you don't know. Yeah, so you need anyone that now spends a d6 will give that to the players. You yourself, players, can also do if you have channel points.
Yeah, I've
To
given
use
it
for
to
this?
Navin.
No, but I mean right now for
Aw.
the this roll.
For the next saver.
Oh, I will.
Yep.
What if I use my Timspiration? Does
So
that
it's the
you-
7,500%? The 7,500 point thing?
No, it's just 1,000. Just 1,000 points to add. No. It's just 1,000 to add. So, what we can do
So
for
what does Horde loot?
I don't know. That might have been a thing that we have.
Yeah, that's not the
Done
one,
before.
right?
No, I think that what the Horde loot one might be that it adds like
Yeah,
advantage or something.
After a
what does
boss
it say?
battle. Let's see, give the players an extra roll on the loot
Yes,
table after
so-
the boss battle.
Yeah, so the Horde loot would be like you give them. So instead of them rolling once on the table here, they would roll twice. That is what the 7,500 one is. But what the 1,000 one will allow you to do is when they roll, they will add, like they will get higher up.
Okay.
Basically.
I'm giving mine to Morgan.
I mean, we're giving
Thank
this
you.
to ourselves if that's what
know.
we're doing.
I know,
This
but
is
I'm giving
our
it to
Christmas gift to us.
Every ship goes in.
Anyways, please, everyone, roll me a d20.
What if we roll 5d20s and keep
We
the
are
highest
going to roll 4 d20s, and the person that gets to roll the highest is going to roll on the table.
But am I rolling too?
Everyone rolls a d20
Okay.
because this is just for us players being like, haha.
God damn it.
Even the
One
challenge.
higher than me.
Morgan and Garrus, you need to roll me a d20, please.
It should be rolling. I'm not sure if it ever went through. I'll try that again.
Oh, mine also didn't go through. It was so slow.
There we go. No, that's
7,
not. Okay,
so
yeah.
8,
Well,
9,
11 and
11, 12. Ah! So, what you will find underneath the collection on the top right is. So, the one next to the cogwheel, there is a tab. And underneath that tab, you will see rollable tables.
Mm-hmm.
What I need you to do is I need you to roll me a rollable table.
Which one?
one?
Which loot table, though?
Treasure Hoard number 1. Okay, so wait, before you do anything, I'm going to see. So we then add 2 d6s. Actually, 2, 3, 4, 5 d6s. Roll 5 d6s, please. 4. I can't count. Roll me 4 d6s to increase this.
Yeah, I can do it.
Yep, go for it.
1, 2,
2,
3. Oh,
1.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Why
one
did
more.
that 5? Okay, that was. Ignore that. That
One more
was
Sarah.
a failure in
So
most
2,
ways.
8. One more Sarah.
okay.
Wait, that was D5.
Woo!
6. So 14 increase from this one. Nice. It actually puts you up an entire 2. Let's see. Let me count here. So Tim should have done this better. I said 14, right?
You said 30, actually.
Okay, so I need Navin to roll me a d6. And this one you want high.
Yes.
Oh, I'll just roll a 6.
Hi.
Oh, it was.
Yes.
No!
No!
Damn it.
You had to say hi.
Do you have a Team Inspiration?
I do.
You can re-roll with the Team Inspiration.
I will definitely do that. Come on.
Curiosity, because what are the odds we roll another one?
Yeah.
What were the
Oh!
odds?
Good. 1 in 6.
Okay,
The odds are 1 in
No.
6. It's D6.
so what we will do is each person will go onto the collection and click Loot Table C, roll once.
Okay.
Okay, so everyone rolls loot table C once.
Yep, and then I will roll it a 5th time. Okay, so on top of this, we will also have 4. So as you enter this room, you immediately see that there are various objects, items. There's pouches. There's like armor stand. There is weapon stand. Most of which is literally shit. And Morgan, you see that
Literal shit?
like it's at the point of like touching it, it will decay. Morgan,
Okay.
you do see in the like in front of this skeleton, there is a journal, and it actually has paper and writing which you as Morgan can't read until like you switch on the runes of the Eye Keeper.
That's not a switch-onable
I
ability.
know, but it's more fun
passive.
for it has that you see it, because like it would be a thing where you know that you can't read it, because otherwise how could you ever discern what you can and can't read kind of thing. So for me it's more of a like filter. I will share this with the players. You can read it whenever you want, if you want it.
So what language is it? Can I identify the language?
Yes, roll me a what would it be?
History?
I really would like to have had linguistics as the
Isn't
thing.
intelligence is linked to like the reading and writing? So would it be like an
Yeah,
intelligence
just
save, I
intelligence.
guess?
Yeah.
Linguistics
check.
isn't a skill.
No, linguistics is a skill in Pathfinder. It's not in 5th edition.
Ah.
So roll me an intelligence check. I will come back to. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
So what you guys will find throughout the room is a pair of gloves. You'll find a potion, and you will find a trident, neither of which have been touched by time, making you think that there is absolutely something magical with them. You will also find 2 scrolls, neither of which have a seal on them. And Tim will just make some rolls as to identify what it is. You do not know what language it is, unfortunately, Mr. One of these spell scrolls is a spell scroll of water breathing.
Okay.
And the other one...
Could have used that in the lever room.
We very much could have.
Now we know who built that trap. He probably had it on him at all times. Like, oh shit, I have to use my emergency device.
It's probably a fucking druid and just can tell the snakes, hey, chill out for a second while they fix this trap for me, okay?
Well, technically speaking, if you hadn't let go of the lever, the water never would have flooded in.
Yeah. When you build
don't
the trap,
talk
you never
about
know
that.
how it works. You know, it might go off. I plugged the wrong thing into the wrong thing. You know, it's like a fire extinguisher. You always have one when you're cooking. You never know what's gonna go wrong.
Oh, DM, did you share the journal to everyone or just my character? Do I need to relay it? Because I would be relaying it.
Well, I saw it,
Yes.
but yeah, I'm not looking.
I have shown everyone that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Pictures in
The
that book.
second one is a spell scroll of fear.
What level spell is that?
That's a nice distribution. 1 illusion, 1 transmutation.
And then you also do find 4 onyxes, which each are worth 50 silver.
Very nice.
Does somebody write that up, or?
Yep, you need to write this up and take it on your characters and have an approximate weight on them as well.
Yeah, are we... Who's taking what?
Okay, so first let's just all compile everything into
Yeah.
a list.
Yeah.
So,
No, yeah, paper and books. Like Navin basically doesn't
Yeah,
even
same.
care whatever it is. It's like,
No.
okay.
okay,
I'll-
I
I'm
reckon we
going
can
to-
split the onyxes between ourselves.
I'm going to
easily.
delete the one post in the loot channel and then start writing things down. So, can you give it to me in the list so I can just type stream of consciousness?
4 onyxes, 1 spell scroll.
Hold on, slow down a second.
4 onyxes worth 50 silver pieces apiece.
4 onyx, 50 silver.
A trident of fish command.
You can write that down, but remember, until identified, your characters don't know what it is. Any curses or so will not show up in this list, of course, as well.
Obviously.
Trident of fish. Spell scroll of water breathing. Spell scroll of fear. Potion of gaseous form. And gloves of thievery. Looking over the spell scroll, or I guess, can you open... Yeah, looking over the spell scroll, could Garrus ascertain that one of them would at least be transmutation, one of them would probably be illusion?
Okay, are any of... Is there anything else in the room that's useful, or is it just these things? Like, no coin or anything?
No, it is the... what's it called?
Onyx?
Yeah, the onyxes. They are the coins.
People don't have time for coins.
Yeah, people don't have
Yeah.
time.
Like a
This-
that.
There was a dead body or like a skeleton by the book, right?
Yes.
There was.
Can I investigate and look at like if I can ascertain like how it died to some degree, like if it's decapitated or has injuries on it?
As we said, like if we're talking like 1,000, like it. No, the thing, like it doesn't have any injuries. Sorry, like on the skeleton is completely just like, yeah, pristine.
It's just bones essentially. and
Yep,
tendons,
just
yeah.
bones.
Does it have clothes on it? Or did it
No.
die naked?
It died naked. Or, as you look around, it looks like the clothes have withered away with time.
I choose to believe the former.
I'm wondering if I should be nice here.
Yes, you should.
Haven't I
That is
already
a-
been nice?
Yeah,
Yes.
you have.
I
Loot
have,
is always
but I like my player, so I am going to make a horde loot extra for you guys with my points. I will roll it.
That's so nice.
Oh, that is amazing! Somebody roll me the 2d4s.
I will do that.
Oh, whoops.
Morgan's fast. That's enough. The 1d6 will not apply for this one, but we can add it to the amount of money that they get. Sorry,
Fancy.
Ben. And then
2d4 bottles of perfume.
we'll get one of this as well. You find a DOS loot in here as well.
What's a DOS loot?
It is, for player knowledge, it is one of the bardic instruments that have certain spells already written into them and are like
Ooh, a
specific.
fancy bardic instrument.
It is
Yes.
very fancy. Very nice.
Too bad I don't
Unfortunate-
sing. No.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, we could probably work it in because you are technically a bard. We can, you can probably attune to it, and like
Not
what I mean
now,
is
but maybe.
for the spells, and I don't mean like we can change the DOS. Like the DOS loot is just for me to write it down, but since it
Maybe
was,
instead of enchanted carving tools that were used throughout
Exactly.
the temple for those practice.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That is how I mean that we can change it because you did happen to roll on something that only your character can use. We can change it into something that your character can use.
Okay, cool.
Wait, is
Okay.
everyone else on a different route? No, that doesn't make it. Never mind. Sorry. I can't see anything on Roll20 right now, so I figured I might be on a different map entirely than everyone else, but you can only move players as a group.
It's just weird, Roll20 at the moment. You need to
Yeah.
update it sometimes so it's working. Do you go back the same way that you came, or do you go up the other way?
Well, Navin, this turned out to be a pretty good detour. Do we want to risk one more room, or head back?
It wasn't danger at the very least. I mean, all the gemstones probably won't hurt, but the rest don't really need it. Let's go. We
Well,
still have time, I would say.
Magic equipment was always useful. I'd say much more useful than a gemstone.
Let's.
They can be exchanged for goods and services, but this, and I hold up the fancy trident. Not sure what it does yet, but it looks very nice.
Well, it might just be like the jugs that we met, that they just withstood the test of time.
As a blacksmith,
Would I know that they're like the?
You know.
Okay, yeah.
you absolutely know
That's-
that any of these items
Must be magical to have withstood.
must
okay.
be magical.
Okay.
And Yeah, no, you absolutely know that they are. Like, especially like the smithing as well. By it,
Yeah,
it's so pristine that,
But then I guess I would have known the jugs were also magical, like by the fountains.
yeah, most likely they had some sort of spell in them.
suppose,
You
yeah.
start moving the other way, and you eventually find a staircase that takes you up this same amount of steps that you went down, just a little less. You come to just a flat door with a very apparent like click this button to open the secret door, and as you do, you find yourselves in the corridor next to opposite the water room,
Oh,
and it seemed to have been a secret passage to get down here. And
nice.
then with a simple left, you walk out and you find Kristof and Kowèn sitting, and you probably come up like at this point where like Kowèn is putting Kristof down, looking conflicted in his face, most likely after the recent conversation. You see these three fucks come out with just weird things with them. A lute, a trident, like gloves that doesn't look like anything. Yeah.
Oh, and I just rush over and try to help them carry whatever. Especially Morgan.
It's all right, Kowèn. It's all right. Just sit down and get some rest right now. Lost a lot of blood.
It's okay. Should I carry? I can help Kristof instead, if that's better. Yeah, I'll do that.
You could consider spending the night here just to get a bit of a breath back. And what time of day is it? I should have asked that first.
You have no idea. You were underground.
How long have we been underground?
You have no idea. You have
What
What time was it when we went underground?
You don't know because it is not light when you're walking.
We
through
are all
the
exhausted,
Yeah.
regardless. I don't think it matters what time it is outside.
Either way,
Cool.
I would suggest a good long rest. And
Right.
I don't know how good it will be, but some rest will always do some good.
if you give me a couple of extra hours, I could also start identifying some of this stuff. And I gesture to some of the items that are obviously magical, but we don't quite know what they do yet.
The one
should
thing
give
we need to be concerned about, I think, Kristof said there might be another rift in this temple, if I understood him correctly, yes?
No.
No. He said there's
Opposite.
definitely not one of them.
Right, then let's close off the cage area to make sure nothing comes up from there.
Barricade
set up
as
an-
best as we can.
There are 4 rooms with beds that are.
Yeah. That's where I'm heading with Kristof.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So how this works, since we are not in a tavern, we are all, well, most of us, we are wounded, is that unless Kowèn spends time on each person expending healing kits, you will all not, I mean, you're safe, you will regain your spell slots and so, but you won't regain much health nor hit die. So, yep.
I don't have healing tools, do I?
Didn't I give you a healing kit?
You did. I remember you used it before.
Oh.
Yes. So you should have. So how you healing kit is? I'll add that on the right side of your sheet.
Yeah, thank you.
It comes with charges. It has 10 total. It has like very simple things, but so you can like usually pick them up as you're going through a forest, just kind of recharging.
Yeah.
And you spend. Let me just double check how long it is.
Because, yes, I do that on everybody. Yes.
Yeah. So you spend 30 minutes on each person, including yourself, which is then an additional 2 hours. And instead of regaining 1 hit point and 1 hit die, everybody regains 10% and half hit die.
It's rounded down on the hit die, or is it rounded up?
Up.
Can we
10%.
spend the hit die on the same rest?
Yes.
Ooh.
It would be in the morning. So if you have 0 hit die now, you can spend them in the morning to regain your HP if you need to. So this is where it comes in. Like, this makes it hard for you to take continuous fights and kind of forces downtime upon you. And as you're sleeping, I think specifically
By the way, setting up alarm, just as a quick note.
Morgan and Kowèn, you sleep your sleep is filled with dreams. It is not bad, not good. Like you find yourself standing in empty places, all grayed out. And then sometimes you find like yourself standing when you are gray, but the rest of the surrounding is regular, as if though, imagine you're standing in a town and everyone else is vivid with color, but you're gray. And it's just a lot of not really making sense. And then you'll wake up. None of you have been slit throats. Yeah, I need a quick break before we
Yes.
continue.
I was gonna ask that.
Yeah,
Cool.
and we will continue with this in 10 minutes.
Yeah. So we will
10,
be
30
back,
minutes.
so don't go anywhere, beautiful people. And we'll see what happens next. Alright, see you soon.
Welcome back to the second part of today's session, where we join back into the game as the characters have just had a long rest. And they all wake up. You have no idea what time of day it is. It is equally dark and cold as it was when you went to bed. I think that Navin would probably be the person that is closest to Kristof.
Yeah.
I think as you wake up, you see him like sweating. You see the seeds are still in his wounds, and he does not look like he's healed a bit after having a good rest.
Yeah.
With the
Mediocre
little
rest at best.
things that you have knowledge of from wounds on field and such, he needs attention within like 5 days.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's gone. And it might be that he will still die.
Even if he gets help, it's not a sure thing.
Oh, and since we did have a long rest, everyone's at 2 levels should now be at 1, and everyone who's at 1 is now at 0.
Yes.
Okay.
Exhaustion has gone down 1 tick. So what do you want to do, and how do you want to go about it?
Garrus will spend some time to quickly break out a map. Just in the early hours in the morning while everyone's still more or less getting their bearings, and see where the nearest town would be that might have a dedicated
This
healer.
is the map that you have, and you know that River Verge is the nearest town. You have no idea where in the Wailing Woods you are. And as for, like, Hamlet, there were some along the road. You probably slept in one here, and there's probably one here as well. So the closest one is probably around here, but it does not have any sort of, healing
Healer.
capabilities. No priests or anything.
Sounds like the best chance is to head to River Verge then, right?
Yes.
We'll have to backtrack our steps. I think that's the safest option, otherwise we might end up getting lost.
Yes, I concur. Reminding me how we... Do you think Kristof's knocks can be folded and reversed well enough? Or...
Absolutely. They're good for another week.
I think so, yeah. We've also left tracks on our own, so it should be helpful partially at least.
Alright. We'll pack our stuff up and hopefully make our way through the rest of the Wailing Woods. Does Garrus remember... I'm not sure how familiar he is with this area. Is it a very bad idea to move through the Wailing Woods at night? Or does the Wailing Woods suck regardless?
Yes.
Alright, cool.
When I realized that we're about to head out, I try to help Kristof as much as I can.
Yeah, he's out of it at the moment. He has not risen out of his bed yet.
Okay, but when, I try to get him to wake up.
He does not wake up.
In the time
Is he
before
dead?
we set off...
You check his pulse. Nope.
Okay.
He's not dead, or there's no pulse?
Like, your question was, is he dead?
Yeah.
The answer is no.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all I wanted.
He's
I
having a high fever.
Yeah.
The wound is festering at this point.
Yeah.
And you hear muttering, but he is not waking up by himself.
Okay, but I'll get him to his feet-ish and try
And I'll help
to
as well.
drag him with me.
So, as the experienced healer that you are,
Yeah.
dragging a person who weighs, like, with all the gear and everything,
Okay.
some 150 pounds, dead weight, is going to cause his wounds to rip open, and he's going to die.
Okay, no, I'm not doing that.
You have
Fuck.
to make like a stretcher that you sort of drag behind you, like 2 sort of thick logs, and you have it on your back, and you can have the person sort of lying, and you drag it essentially.
Yeah. I'll do
In
that.
Garrus's
I'll go get some
recollection,
wood, so I go out and
how
chop
much
down some
coin
trees.
is the healing going to cost exactly?
I believe it was Morgan's role that he knew what this was, and Garrus had like an idea.
I think it was a restoration spell, which would require a fairly high-level cleric.
Great restoration.
Greater restoration.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. You go first.
Well, it's interrupting you, so go.
I was just going to ask, would I know roughly how much in materials a greater restoration would cost just from having read, like, books about divine rituals? Would this be an
You would
Arcana
assume,
check or a religion check?
I think that like they would have had people on Lamenta having to go out, and so they would probably talk about how much, and the payment varies between 4 and 8 Ethereum.
That's 100
It's,
silver, right?
400 to 800 silver.
Maybe we could trade one of these magical items. By the way, in the hours before we set off, would I have time to have identified any of them?
Have you a pearl worth 100 gold or 100 silver?
I'm pretty sure I
Didn't you identify something else that was magical? The amulet?
yeah, I identified something
We
on
might
the
have
island.
forgotten the pearl at that point, though.
I'm pretty sure we found
We
a pearl.
identified the fragment of the phoenix last session, but I don't think we had a pearl while we were doing so.
No, you haven't. Yeah. Oh, you have you? Did you identify?
We did, to my
Yeah,
knowledge.
use the
Yeah.
identification ritual.
Yeah. No. But that's
I
a
don't
different
see it on
one.
my-
It's yeah.
I
No,
don't-
actually, you don't have like what was done. I believe earlier was the use of Kowèn's
Yes.
thing.
Yeah, it's true.
That
Prod was given back.
was given back. So I think that you lent it out, and now it's also Tim realizing that how much did we say that's worth even? You haven't even.
I think you said
Oh,
Sorry.
right, the fake tooth thing. That was real gross.
yep.
Do you still have the pearl?
Yep.
Can I borrow that again?
I mean, to do it in character instead.
That's
Yeah.
I walk I walk up to Kowèn. Do you still have that pearl that we used back in the city?
Just take it out and hand it to him.
It's slimy.
Sorry, and I'll just try to, fix it up
I-
a little bit and.
With a little bit of a flourish, I use prestidigitation to just instantly clean it up. Thank you. I just want to identify some of the
Sure.
items that we found.
Yeah.
I'd like
think
to set up
that's-
that ritual.
That's fine. Maybe I shouldn't have allowed the usage of it from the early game. It was meant for the use of chromatic orb, and I don't remember us casting identify or what we cast identify on.
Yeah.
It was
Um,
the
Fragment of the phoenix.
No,
The amulet.
there was something in the earlier parts, in like the first or second session, I believe.
Maybe the compass?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was either the needles or the
yeah. So I think that it
Sure.
was just overlooked that that we assumed that you had the ability to cast it. So what I'm going to do, because chromatic orb is, I believe, a pearl worth 50.
Yeah, I think it was 50.
a diamond worth 50.
Yeah, diamond worth 50. And I think that the identify spell is still 100. Yes.
Yeah. There's a percentage roll. Like you get like a very low chance of succeeding if you don't have a powerful
Nope.
item.
There's just no possibility. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna assume that up to this point you've had scrolls, and you will need the pearl.
Crap. We can find a jeweler in wherever we find. But we might be able to trade one of these. If we can figure out what it does, we could trade one of these items.
Okay. I need Navin and Kowèn to make me a both of you. Navin, I need you to make me an intelligence check, and then I need you to make me a strength check. And then for Kowèn, I need you to make me a sleight of hand. Okay. What did you want to say, Sarah?
No, I was just thinking that we could use the wood that is in the beds, but there are no beds, right?
There would be one of them, also like the frames.
Okay.
Like
So I would stop Navin and
Yeah.
just ask him to if we could just take the things.
Yeah.
So we don't arouse
yes.
suspicion.
Yes. Don't need to leave a bed. So I just go ham on, chop up the bed.
Together, you make a makeshift stretcher in where you can place Kristof. You then use the remnants of the quilts and tie him to it so that it doesn't fall off.
Yeah.
And it's possible to either drag him yourself or to have two people walk. It would probably be better to have two people walk with the terrain on the outside because there's a lot of vines and thorns, roots and shit that sticks out of the ground.
Kowèn, will you help me carry him?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think. Thank you.
Are you ready to leave at this point?
No dog tags on the soldiers that we found at the entrance to the dungeon, right?
No, and I
Dog
was
tags
going to
exist
do
in
that.
this kind of universe?
Yes, dog tags is a thing. Mainly for simplicity. The thing is that with the name that you did find, it's cloth. It's colored like probably a robe, and like Somaya Grenadis, there is nothing that you find on the bodies that should identify them as this person. So it's either somebody that has been completely devoured or somebody that isn't here. But it looked weird again, having it like grasp in your hand or in one of the dying soldiers' hand. And Kristof's brother is not here. Okay.
Let's
Very
be
little to do.
Trek back will probably be worse than the trek here, but
4. Okay. Simon,
Mhm.
I have 10 cards here.
No.
oh no!
Stop!
I just gotta go. Bye.
Oh right, yeah, the bus.
Oops, look at that.
1 is to the right, 10 is to the left.
Yeah.
Pick a number.
7.
7.
Yeah.
Lucky number 7.
This
Well, that
card.
sounds Navin 7.
And then Mr. Bryant.
No, no, no. Negative 2.
1 is to the right, 9 is to the left. Pick a number.
Negative 2. 3.
Okay. Negative 2 would be okay. 3. Sure. Okay. Oh, then it's Sarah.
No.
Yeah. 1 is to the right. 8 is to the left. 3 as well. Okay.
It's my lucky number.
Is it good? Is it bad? Will we die fast? Or will we die
The
slow?
first card that we have is the Tempter.
No.
The second card that we have is the Mercenary.
Oh God.
And the third card that we have is the Necromancer.
No. Did I pick that? I hope not.
And with that,
I
draw.
don't like finding the necromancer in these woods.
You
I don't.
Listen, maybe the necromancer is the happy zombie caravan type, where it's just
Yeah,
a carnival of
totally.
undead.
Yeah,
He's like,
could be.
let's have a party, guys.
Me and all my friends.
No, don't say it like that.
You start making your way down the the trail that you so have had followed. I can't speak English today. Sorry.
That's okay.
At one point, you come to the rift, the canyon with the water, and Garrus has an idea. With the cartographer that he is, he knows that following this river, you most likely should come out on the eastern side, where you saw the water come out, and you also know that this river, most likely because of its location and how far you have walked, should lead you into River Verge. So you have the option of following this river and probably cutting down on the travel time by an entire day, or, if it's the wrong river, get lost.
I would be disinclined to take risks at this point.
Risks may ultimately be necessary. I'm not sure how long Kristof is going to hang on for. Kowèn, you're the most medically inclined of us. Can you give us an estimate on whether or not it would be worth it?
How
Roll
is
me a
it
medicine.
looking?
Roll me a medicine, Mr. Kowèn.
It did only take us a day to get here.
It's
no,
a
it's
few
we
days.
ran.
2 days to, and I'm talking like a days of travel equals like 8 hours.
Yeah.
And you ran for.
Yeah.
You have a disadvantage at this point.
Yep.
Crap, I keep forgetting to ask for guidance. I could have given you guidance on that check.
He's not gonna make it past 2 days.
How confident is Garrus in his cartography skills at this point?
You know Garrus. How confident is he?
Not being able to actually have any landmarks to work with, he's reasonably sure, but he's also really concerned about screwing this up. He'd probably put the odds somewhere around 730.
Yeah.
Just standing there. Whatever we do, we shouldn't linger. Just decide. You should know best, Garrus. I trust you with this.
Garrus will begin following the river.
Okay. I need you to make me a survival check.
I'd like to give him guidance on that check.
You can't give retroactive guidance because this is something that comes.
He hasn't made the check yet.
No, but again, like you don't know when the check is. It's something that comes new, something that goes. Like retroactively, you will never be able to use guidance.
Suck it.
Where?
That's amazing.
You come to a point where this river splits off into 3 directions.
Ooh.
And you're standing there and you're like, fuck, 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 fuck. You look at them, you try to use the knowledge that you have and how rivers form and how they move. And you follow the one that is tiniest, the one that actually, from the untrained eye, looks like the one least probable to lead out. But with a high certainty, Garrus moves to the southern of the 3 by rivers and starts following it. Doubt starts to kind of flow up through you as the forest gets thicker and thicker. Spirits seems to leave you reasonably alone. There's probably been a crawl or 2 that's been following you that you can just easily outrun. And after a good 8-9 hours of walking and trudging, you start feeling how you're walking uphill in a much steeper incline than so before. Remembering how it looked from the outside, you were standing on the top, the crest of the hill, looking down into the valley, and this incline is a certainty that it's going to lead out. The river at some point goes into the hill and leaves you. But in front of you, up above, you can see the clear sky. And as you come to the crest, you pause. The sun is about to just set. The river comes rushing out of the hillside, maybe 700 or so meters below you. And you can clearly see how it writhers, wrinkles, how does that, slivers? Like when you see it,
Yeah. So
Oh yeah, wriggles or like
Yeah.
yeah, its way down towards the city of Riververge.
Winds would be a good word here.
Wind is a good word, thank you.
Did well, guys.
Yeah. You. That was great.
Well, it's just as much as fortune as anything else, but so long as everyone's safe, I have nothing to complain about.
It's not like you to be modest.
I suppose near death changes a person for 12 to 14 hours.
Well, let's keep going.
So now you have a choice. The sun is setting. You can continue walking. It takes you 8 hours to walk the 35 kilometers. If you want to walk at a decent pace, you can also run at a quicker pace if you want. You can also just press on. Again, take exhaustions upon you, and not really being able to see any ambushes or the like, if so you want. You decide. You have the pace here, 45 to 50 in a day. It is, from this point, about 50 kilometers. So I would say, at a fast pace, you could make it in as day breaks tomorrow.
And we're not in the Wailing Woods anymore, right? It's more open
No,
country.
you are
Yeah.
outside.
Okay.
If he only has short time left, I suggest we pick up the pace.
Yep.
I concur.
I'd agree.
Everyone can go ahead and mark an exhaustion point extra upon your sheets. As you push through the nights, the guide from both Garrus and Morgan guides you. With ease, you follow the river, that as closer you get to Riververge, the more it picks up. The faster, the stronger it is. You come to the bend, continue south, and see the lights atop many of the houses and the keep of Riververge. Just as the sun rises in the west, you enter the outskirts of the city. Exhausted, but alive.
Yay!
Excellent. I love being alive. Alive. It is a good day to be not dead.
You would come from this direction up here.
Okay.
Where would you want to go?
Should drop off Kristof first and foremost to seek treatment, even if
Find a healer, yes. But where?
nearest. Remind me where the nearest temple was, GM. I believe it was here.
You don't know. I mean,
Nobody is out on the streets at this time of night, are they?
No, there would be. I mean, it's daybreak, so most of the farmers are out.
All right, flag one of them down as we're going into town.
You put the flag up for speeding. He stops. Flag, please, sir, don't give me a ticket.
Oh man, another
You
one.
should go to that
He would
before
point
you
you
broke.
to the offering square over here.
The offering square is a mile or two east. You should probably stop there first. Hopefully there's somebody willing to take pity on us.
The temples there would be Vorna, Numindar, and Kulanthor.
Hey,
With
Do I know which god or pantheon Kristof belongs to? Maybe he hasn't discussed it or shown or like have a symbol, so it might be unknown.
Yeah, I don't think that they would actually.
let's try Kalumpha first.
Yes.
let's try the nearest one first. Yeah.
Well, we probably don't want to see Vriolia. Oh,
Vorna,
Pona.
the goddess
Vorna.
of death. Yeah, it wasn't Virolia, the lone wanderer. No.
Gotcha.
The nearest one that will have someone who knows heals.
Velna would probably be the best domain for us then. Well, I'm not sure if they would treat us.
I'm sure we can beseech them. In the worst case, pay them.
You make your way into the city and east, past these nicer quarters that have cobblestone in the middle and like upper middle class, most likely. You head east and come into this large square where you see 3 temples. You have spent like another, with the 2 kilometers, another almost 35-40 minutes of walking to make sure that he doesn't get injured. So the sun is getting up. The square is covered with hedges who are very neatly trimmed. You can see in the center of the square there is a larger fountain surrounded by 3 gods, and it looks like the gods are like to the temples most likely, and then a 4th miscellaneous god which has its back to you that you cannot see. So you have the choice to make.
It's not standing in a masculine pose, riddled with testosterone.
You mean
is it?
testosterone pose? No. And you would know that this one would be Kulanthor, this one would be Vona, and this one would be Numindar.
Velma is the god of death. Does that mean they're also the god of healing, or
So
something
you
else?
can roll me
It's
religion.
possible that a god of death is also a god of avoiding death, but it's rare. Historically speaking, at least.
You can make me a religion, mister.
Religion check. That is a 7.
Yeah. You know that Vona is the goddess of death. And that is
come
about
on.
the extent of your religious knowledge, both of you.
I'm a scholar.
Try
Yeah.
Kalantha first. This temple on the left. See if
We
they
can always
do
go to the
anything
others
first.
if they do not give us passage.
We
for
could always
clearance.
just ask them where to go if they turn us away. Power of asking questions is important.
What other
Garrus.
temple should we go to, holy man? Like, oh yes, please go to the.
You
Oh
walk,
no! We're the gods of fertility. Healing's next door.
You walk to the left, where you come into the temple of Kulanthor. It is a moderately sparse temple, like what do you call it? It's a modestly modest temple. It's not very fancy, where you could see the splendor with gold and silver and jewels hanging around. It seems to be a simple. You come through the doors. There's a few benches. There is a statue to Kulanthor in the edge of it. You can see spiral staircases going up into what looks to be private possible rooms. At the top possible that it's to the priests themselves. Currently walking on the floor would be 4 different disciples, all wearing this washed out orange robe, currently cleaning the floors with their brooms, and 1 person standing and polishing the statue to Kulanthor. All of them having the same washed out orange.
Any of them look like they're particularly approachable.
Oh, I mean, all of them.
All right.
I mean,
Just start walking
it's
towards the
urgent.
closest
I'll
one.
just keep yelling help.
Everybody
It is.
spoke at the same time. Okay, you just walk up to the nearest one.
We are in quite a bit of a pickle. We have the heir of House Gravenroth here with us. He's in dire shapes.
Let's see. First, let's see which kind of person it is. You get a decently middle-aged man turning around. You can see balding kind of starting to get to him, sacks underneath his eyes, and he looks up and sleep just now kind of leaving him. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I am so tired. Did you say air?"
Yes, sir.
And he kind of looks, oh, somebody's injured. he would turn around and kind of, Jonas, run in and get Father Roderick. You see the kid that was standing and polishing the statue turns around and runs up one of the spiral staircases and then quickly pounce on the door and then opens it and gets a... And you hear some mumbling, some talking, and then a man enters in front of the kids. A rather striking man in his late 20s, early 30s. This brown hair sat up in a samurai bun. Very thin beard, like almost what Brian would have. And, I mean, sorry, I say thin when... it would be, yeah.
This
you don't have the thin.
majestic mess.
Yeah, maybe more like me. I think I have the least beard of us. I mean, Sarah technically has the least beard. But,
Hey! Watch out! Don't say I have a beard. I don't have a beard.
No, that's why I say you have the least beard. Zero beard is the least beard, isn't it?
Technically, negative beard would be the least beard.
How would you quantify negative beard?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get out of that topic.
He moves down. You hear like the down as he runs up to you. What is it? What can I do for you?
Please help our friend.
He kind of looks. He turns and moves over and just like shucks off things off a prayer bench and then turns it around so that like you can place him down. Yeah. And he walks up, like helps you put him down. Kowèn will probably be the one like knowing how to move him off, and does so instinctively. Just moves him off. You see how Roderick sits down and kind of starts inspecting him as his face like turns rather grim. So just roll. He turns to you. I do not have the healing for this. I am not proficient enough. I believe only the priests of Vona can help. Sorry, Numindar can help you. And Bolshev is his name. However, this level of magic will cost you.
I'm sure the house will be more than happy to pay for whatever means they need to heal it.
I just hope that you can convince them of allowing you to pay after.
So do I, friend. But regardless, it's a matter of life and death. We have no other options.
I don't think you should move him. Run over to the Numindar temple and get Bolshev. He kind of turns. Jonas, run over and get Bolshev. You see the kid like drops his thing like cloth as he was polishing again. Just like starts running over to the other side, and your heart, starts pumping as you are hoping for this. As after 9-10 minutes, this large, well-rounded man kind of walks up. No hair on his head. You see, like, properly clean shaven. One of his eyebrows is half as well. Very, like, stern impression as he, like, walks up into you. What is it that you want help with? You see him kind of look over to you guys. You need healing?
We have the heir of House Gravenworth with us. He came to an unfortunate accident in the Wailing Woods. Some type of seeds has infested it. We were hoping to beseech your expertise to treat him as best as you were able.
He walks over. Oh, I know this man. He is Kristof. I have healed him before. He kind of nods, takes a look. No good. He just instinctively pulls around like a satchel and like starts pulling out things. You, like the two wizards, you see a lot of very expensive ingredients being put up around him, as he like looks to all of you. Go do something else. It will take a bit. As he starts like preparing and like putting things into the wound. You probably hear like as he puts into the wound, like almost small like the shrieks from the fucking seeds in him, and like it just starts moving, and his stomach like just is rolling like a fucking wave up and down as these seeds are twisting and turning, trying to get away from what is to come. He starts after some time chanting, and all of you can just feel the surge of power from outside into this man as he's sitting and like chanting, and it gets louder and louder and louder, and then like it gets so fast that he's just moving his mouth. You cannot hear anything anymore. It just goes silent. And then you see this big black light shine from his hands, and you hear Kristof just starts coughing and coughing, and you just see this like hundreds of small seeds, all with like small tentacly, like thorny tentacles stretched out. Some of them, rasping the mouth out, and like blood just flows out of him as he then, the priest just continues to enchant, but on another incantation, as this much less impactful light starts shining, as you can see how he like moves his hands over the wounds and they start to scale up. The blood starts gushing out from his mouth, and his breathing goes from ragged and dangerous to just a very normal level instead, as the priest just kind of stands up, brushes his dark cloak off, turns to you, kind of gives you a nod. You can tell Kristof to come and pay me when he is away. Whew. It is not good place Wailing Woods to be. You should tell him. It is now second time.
I take
Believe
a
us,
deep
we-
bow and like, thank you.
As he walks, you see this, like, his being is almost like larger than it was before. It looks like his shadow is, much more powerful than it looked like when he went in. And as he walks out into the darkness, it kind of shrinks back into its normal size, and the lights kind of flutter back on the inside to normal. As you see Roderick kind of just nod and like almost this kind of a sheesh kind of deal in his face. That was good that he is alive.
Indeed.
If it's not too much to ask, I have a morning sermon here in a while. At least if he needs to stay, we have a room upstairs. Otherwise, there is a tavern just down by the trading square.
I'll
Sort of
take
look
him.
to, look to Kowèn and like, do you think he's good enough for a tavern, or should he stay close so we don't have to move him?
I think closer to healers is better until we know for sure that he's going to be fine and doesn't have any other issues that might crop up later.
Kowèn, you can roll me a medicine.
Still looking.
Do you want
towards
us to
Kowèn.
clean up this? We can probably do that for you if you. Somebody, one of us, can probably clean this up if you want to.
Like, the wounds are completely closed at this point. He's not bleeding. His breathing is completely normal. At this point, you would assume that if you splash water on him, he might wake up and be completely fine. That's how well this man healed him.
You didn't say that he was a lord.
He doesn't like to put too much weight on it. Matters not, does it?
Well, no.
Morgan, do us a favor and clean up this mess.
Oh,
if you would.
no, please. There
I'll
is
do
no
it.
need.
That's
No,
okay.
please.
Oh.
Please. There is no need. You don't have to. Your friend is injured. Just get him to a place where he can rest.
Are you sure? He knows some magics
Yeah.
that should be. Oh, yeah. I apologize. Thank you, Your Holiness.
Kind of nods. Yep. So where do you take him? Up to a room or back to the tavern? Or the inn, technically?
I think it's best we keep him close with us.
Yes.
What are everyone's thoughts?
Yep.
Yes, I
You
agree.
very awkwardly carry him up the thin spiral staircase to a room where Jonas, unfortunately, has to show you. As he opens the door, it's like a very, very small Spartan room. And there is a statue to Kulipthor in there with some psalms, or whatever you want to call them. You put him down and realize that there can be maybe one person sitting here and keeping a watch on him, but the others, they have to get the fuck out.
Yeah. But Navin volunteers.
I'll set an alarm on everyone's doors just to be paranoid. But
Oh, it's only one room, which Kristof
Like a
can
whole-
stay in. You
like a-
others... Split party.
No.
I mean, I forcefully split the party now.
Navin, I think, would stay until Kristof awakes at least.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he would stay outside of the building if someone else.
No, that's fine, I think. So, we have Morgan, Garrus, and Kowèn then leaving this and going back to the inn which you paid for and didn't sleep in, I'm assuming. Okay.
That is true.
Yeah. I want to do some stuff.
Here? Yeah, do it.
Well, when the others go to sleep.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's a while, and where
Okay. Yeah, maybe not.
since you did an all-nighter, you're coming in and it's like 6 a.m., 7 a.m.
Oh.
maybe.
Oh,
So
okay.
you're coming in fresh in the morning.
Well, yeah, okay. Then in that case, I will. When we step out, I will just look to Morgan in particular and just is it okay if I go to and I nod my head over to the church of Vona?
Of course. Of course.
All right.
Okay.
Where do I meet you guys? Or, I mean, I'll find you pretty easily, I think.
well, I'm hopeful that the innkeeper will, seeing as how we didn't use our actual rooms when we left town, be accommodating and let us sleep there for the night. I'm feeling rather tired after that exertion. I would like to speak to you for a moment before heading off, though, Morgan. I have an idea I'd like to run by you.
Oh?
So, you know those shady underground character types that we ran into who directed us to Kristof's whereabouts?
Yes.
I want to ask them about the name of this captain that we ran into. But I'm not. I figured I should probably get someone else's opinion on the subject first, before getting myself embroiled in even more troubles.
I would be implied to check it, perhaps the barrack house before someplace like that.
Fair enough.
They're a local garrison? Constabulary, at least?
There should be. You can definitely quickly ask around to get yourself an idea. But before we do that, we're gonna do Kowèn.
Cool.
So you walk north and you get closer to the northern temple where you see a massive statue, like integrated into the middle of this temple. The larger part of it is kind of sticking out of the temple, maybe 35 or so foot. You see this top of a woman, a very beautiful depiction. Like, this is masterful craftsmanship, all made out of onyx, which both take time and can be in some cases brittle as they're doing this, and just kind of getting this very vivid veil over her face, but still, seeing. I'm not certain if you have seen as Sarah. There are certain statues which are made like,
marble.
those were, it's just like amazing.
Yeah.
You get up to the steps. You step in and you see this large circular temple in where the middle is open for the roof, and you see the base of the statue, thinking that probably 70-ish foot tall, and around this in the entire temple you see people wearing a very like lively, what would it be, lively, what's the right color, like egg
Bustling.
white.
Okay.
It's what's
Yeah. Egg white.
yeah, egg white kind of colors, which is like weird because usually death is connected to black and all of that, but not for Vona. It's more fuck it, you haven't made me a religion check, so I'm not going to give you everything. So what would you like to do as you're in here?
Well, since it's my first time doing this, even seeing anything like this, I would like to try to find some sort of contact that I could talk to, or something. Some priest or something like that.
Yeah, like you see a lot of them walking around. You can.
Yeah, I'm very
Pick one?
confused. I look very lost and confused.
There's probably at one point like a woman kind of stops and looks to you. Excuse me?
Hi.
Hi.
Can I ask you for some help?
Sure. She looks a bit confused.
Can you see if I'm alive?
She looks very perplexed at this. I mean, you're standing right here, right? And you're moving.
Yeah.
Your face is not white, which means you've got blood in you at least. Why would you not be alive? And she says this kind of, takes a step back.
Yeah. Well, is Vona the only one who does she decide over who lives and dies and all of that, or
very uncomfortable. She kind of looks around to see if she can catch someone else, like probably, but she's like, so when you die, your soul is meant to go to the eternal halls, in where you rest for eternity. There's some people who manage to avoid it and stay alive longer than they should, but eventually everyone goes to her realm, and she doesn't necessarily decide who dies and who stays alive. She can, however, refuse people entry to her realms, meaning that you won't die, technically.
oh, all right.
Is that answer to the question?
Yeah. Thank you. Why would she refuse somebody?
Um, whilst she's my god, I can't pretend I speak for her and knows
No.
her motives. She's a primal god, a being of the universe, but
Yeah.
I mean, my best guess, maybe she believes that the person that has died deserves more. Maybe it is that she knows that if that person stays alive, it will do something good. Sometimes, at least in the stories and legends, people who die when they shouldn't, they get sent back.
Thank you. That. Thank you.
She kind of looks a bit perplexed, but nods.
And I turn and and then I rush over towards the book. I'm just looking for the book.
Yep. You two, where were you heading as you left?
Do you want to get a full night's sleep before asking around town to a potentially powerful killer who drags Red and...
Morning. It's like 8 a.m. at this point.
Yeah, you keep saying that. I wanted to see if we could find a jeweler. I would like a pearl worth around 100 silver.
Do you have 100 silver?
I've found some gemstones. Maybe I could trade for them.
No, jeweler. You can roll me a d20 and see if there is one on the square.
I will help him search out a jeweler. That's
Yep, it's just a random roll and see if he's on there or not. 10. Unfortunately, no jewelers. However, like how it works is that like gems themselves are worth currency. So it's not that you have to trade the gems for coins to then trade coins for goods. You can trade the gems directly for the goods.
A jeweler would have a pearl, is why I was looking for one.
Ah, right. That is what you're looking for.
Where else would I find a pearl?
I mean, Mage Guild.
I would like to go there.
And we are heading then for the two of you. So as the two of you first go to the to here, and you look around a little bit, Kowèn then comes running after you and finds you as you're making your way east towards the Mage Guild.
Kowèn, you're looking... I don't know. You seem a little lively. Did you do something with your hair or something of the sort?
I look at you very like, no. I no. So where are we going?
To harass a bunch of old people in rooms for their material possessions.
We're looking for a pearl so I can try to identify some of these items we found.
But it doesn't help. Yeah, it's kind of gross. I know.
Huh?
Well, I have a pearl if you need it.
It was a diamond, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's so Tim has said right, it's a diamond that you have in your teeth.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Of our colleagues will be here. It's been a while since I've actually, how do you say, networked, I think is what they call it.
Say again?
I wonder if any of our colleagues will be here. It's been a while since I've networked. So to speak.
Suppose it's possible?
No time like the present, I suppose.
All right.
2 seconds.
Are we stealing things?
No? What?
Probably not good to steal from these particular shops.
Well, I'm sorry. Am I a rogue? Am I a bard?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
I assume we're making our way to the Mage Guild, right?
Yes.
Garrus wouldn't be too familiar with any of the mages here, or no, he would know that they're a very selective group, I imagine. But
Like this one here, probably nothing great, especially like the. As you come up, it's called the League of Five, which is like nothing that you've really heard of. It's probably very local, where Wizards have set something up in order to try and, draw people here and have like it. As you come into the grounds, there's like 3 different buildings. One which is like the apparent main building, one possible where it's barracks, sleeping quarters. Maybe they have students, maybe not. And then one looks with a chimney that's puffing out. Probably the kitchen. You walk up to the main part. You open up one of the double doors and walk inside. So a rather grand foyer. It would be very red, like redwood kind of look. Tree, very polished. And hat comes off red to your eyes. There's several larger wooden statues of mages. There are tabards hanging down from the roofs. And you would see in the center above a desk, there is a large stone tablet. And on that tablet, you would see 5 names: Elias Rother, Varnard Exelor, Misselvolk Heliot, Armad the Fourth Itzach, and Sormaya Granurdus.
Do I recognize any of these names? They don't seem familiar off the top of my head.
Seeing some Granodas, you see Garrus suddenly tighten up significantly.
Colleague of yours?
I hand him the piece of cloth.
The piece of cloth that was found inside of the tomb or the temple that says Sormaya Granurdus.
Yeah, I did. Oh, yeah.
Oh, dang, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot what name was actually on it.
So as you step in, you see like a clerk kind of sitting there and writing. He looks up to Gary's, like a little bit angered and confused, I'm assuming.
Hello, chap. Sorry for barging in here.
It is of absolutely no problem. What can I do, the 3 good sirs?
We're looking for a few spell components. We've recently, how do you say, been robbed, I suppose?
How very unfortunate, sir. What are we looking for in the tier lists in terms of money-wise? Certain things we have very locked up, you see.
Nothing beyond... Go ahead. Sorry.
I am in need of a pearl. Small one, suitable for identifications.
For identification. Yes. Sure. What are you trading? Silver? Goods? Commodities? Spells? Knowledge?
I have an onyx that I could provide. Perhaps
An
2.
onyx. 2, please.
Hand over 2 of the stones that we found.
2 of the onyx stones, I suppose. He looks at them, kind of feels them a little bit, and then puts them down as he goes back behind, opens a door. You hear a bit of rattling and ruffling, and then he walks past. You clearly see as he's walking out again, he goes through some sort of veil as he's like passing out. He then like places a pearl, a very round pearl, probably a bit more than 100 silver. But he places it, takes the 2 onyxes, puts them underneath in something. There you go. Was there anything else?
While we're at town, it'd be good to get a feeling for what exactly you do here. I'm not too familiar with your particular establishment.
He kind of does a sigh. Well, I am but a clerk. I take note of who comes, who goes, who speaks with who wants to speak with who. I do not do much more than that. If you want information, I can sign you up, and then we can send a runner for you.
A runner? You mean as in purchase information from you about? I'm more just interested in
No,
your
no.
locals.
What I mean, good sir, is that when one of the lecturers or the actual wizards has time to talk to you, we will send somebody to get you. I
That seems reasonable
have
to me.
about the same information as a stone in these matters.
Seems reasonable to me.
You know, names, please.
Turn to Morgan.
He turns to Morgan.
Wow.
We have names.
Why didn't you go first? Morgan Peltier.
Morgan Peltier and company. Where can they find you?
I reckon we'll probably be staying at the inn, right?
This
To
is a
which
large
do you-
city. There are many inns.
There's only one
Can't
inn.
tell him which one.
Do you remember
The-
what it was called?
The inn on the side of town that I remember that we totally stayed in.
The
Come
question
on.
is Tim going to be an asshole? It's been very much happening, so you can roll me an intelligence check, the two of you. Technically, yeah, because Kowèn isn't gonna say anything. You remember it was at the trade square. Let's see if Morgan remembers the name. Nope. You remember
Come
it
on.
was on the trade square. That's about it.
You know the inn at the trade square. It's a small
yes.
place.
The Unwinding Bull, as it is called.
I think so. I think that's the name of it. Yes, the unwinding.
Not locals, then, I can presume.
Pardon? Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Not locals,
no.
then.
No,
No.
I'm Lamentin.
We were recently shipwrecked off the Raiders' coast.
Right. I do not know when. If you aren't present, the runner will leave a message.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Not. I can't convince you to purchase some fairy dust, or perhaps we have some very nice spell scrolls. We have, and he goes on about what they have. It's all
Would
beat
you-
here, but
Perhaps be interested in a bit of identification. Perhaps steady. I have something that I think might be quite valuable.
did you ask if we needed you to identify things?
No,
for us?
no.
Sorry.
I encountered a creature in the Wailing Woods. It was ethereal and seemed to have some interesting qualities when it came to whether or not it actually wanted to exist on the material plane. When it was
yes.
killed, it dissolved into this, and I hold up the vial of the ectoplasm that I gathered.
Yep. It has then been an abomination. It must have been a group of several spirits that come together and then form the abomination.
That does
is-
match the description.
I can purchase that off you for 100.
100 million gold.
100 million gold. No, 100
done.
silver.
Done, I say as I place it on the counter.
He takes it and takes out. Do you want your gems back, or do you want an Ethereum, or do you want the silver?
I
I'll
think
have
an
the silver.
Ethereum.
He takes out a small box and starts counting in gold and hands it back to you. Thanks
Out of
to
cu-
Plasm.
Out of curiosity, what do you think it might be used for?
He turns. I have no idea, but I remember that we were told by, was it Misselvog, to purchase it. I think he's doing some experiments with it, just relating to what it was that you were saying about it not wanting to really exist, but still being around. I have a tendency to stop listening when they start speaking technicalities because, well, I don't understand it.
Interesting. Thank you very much. You've been quite helpful.
He nods. Okay. And you guys then walk back to the inn?
I am immediately after leaving. I am going straight back to Navin.
Okay.
For my notes, how do you spell the name that guy said? Misselbog or whatever?
Yeah, I will write out all of the names.
Yeah, I will try to make Morgan follow to Navin as well. By using my cuteness against him. Come on!
Yeah. The naming of certain things, like, holy shit.
Misselva. That's one name. I thought that was the first and last name.
No, Misselvog Hillier.
So he's the guy who wants Abomination Ethereum. Add that to the notes.
I think that at this point, Morgan is just kind of walking with you guys and being completely filled up in his mind of like theories of what the fuck this man can use this Ethereum to. Should you go back and
Yes,
get more?
definitely so.
Yeah.
I'm currently contemplating the logistics of putting together an expedition to go get more of this stuff.
And before
And
Morgan
asking if I can join in the steady.
You are back in the Kulamthor temple, and you kind of just shake your head like, wait, I thought we were meant to go to the inn, and you're like, here. And you see them walk up to Navins, kind of knock. And I think as you walk in, how do they see Navin? Like, how are you sitting and watching over Kristof?
They've been gone for a while now, right? Like an hour or
Yeah,
so?
like probably an hour and a half.
Because the thing, like, he's already very tired
Yeah.
to start with. It's, you know, he's probably been sitting and just watching, and, you know, you start very chaotic, and then...
So you walk up, slam the door.
Yeah. Sort of,
Navin wakes up.
Then
Is Kristof up yet?
I looked at Chris like, no.
Is there a nearby cup of water of some sort?
You have a water skin.
I will shape a bit of water from the water skin, and just pour it over his face in an effort to get him.
He opens his eyes. He
So-
immediately looks to Garrus,
I point at Garrus.
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, Garrus, I have something for you." And he extends his hand into the pocket, and then he pulls up his hand like this.
Samuel Gradius is a member of the 5 Mages Guild here in Riververge.
What? Oh wow!
It is very
Wait,
possible that
Like,
the
you see him
Mages
like
Guild...
pat himself. Where's the wound?
We took
Where's
care of
Guild?
that.
He like.
Priest healed you while you were asleep.
Oh, you owe the big
Oh
man in the temple next door quite a bit of money.
no! He like sighs. Not bullshit, right?
Unfortunately, yes.
Fine. I guess it is worth my life. But
For future reference,
What?
where should we take you if you're unconscious?
you could have taken me to Benadori, but that would probably have been equally as expensive. It's just, whilst Bolshev is a great priest, he is also a gambler and a rogue who enjoys, well, money and fame and power. So it's probably going to cost me, not gold, unfortunately, but...
If it's any consolation, we did try the temple of... Where are we again?
Kulamthor, I'm assuming, since we're not in Bolshev's quarters.
Yes.
If you were to have gone to Vone, I think that would have been better, but it's all semantics. It's all semantics. I'm alive, I'm good, and I'm going to have my parents. Anyways, can we... He kind of like extends his hands towards whoever would be closest. Just get me up. Get me out.
I help him up.
But, ooh, and gets me an ale. Whew.
Should we talk about this down at the local tavern? I
As
think we
soon
all
as
need
he
some rest.
says local, I just straight out just go out because
Yeah.
and try to find some ale.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Don't have-
you walk down, and for ale-wise, you have probably to go up here.
Yep.
To the...
I
Yep.
still do.
Yeah. You run in to the roiling stomach, as it is called, and quickly put... Sorry?
Yes. Okay.
Coin on the counter. Ooh, let me just double check. Did Tim put this in here? I did not. Oh no, my alcohol! I didn't put it in. My homebrew list of alcohol. It's a polter. That would be the cheapest one.
What's a polter?
A polter is like our...
Oh, it's an ale. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's an ale.
Okay,
It's,
cool.
yeah. It would be this, maybe 10 bronze, I believe it would be. So
And
10
how
copper.
much?
So
Is that in silver pieces?
1/10. So
Oh.
like 0.10. So
Okay.
you change a silver into 100 copper, and then
Oh.
remove 10. So you have 90 copper.
Thank you. And then I rush back
Yeah.
towards the book.
Yeah.
Wait, the tankard isn't included in the price.
Too bad.
Yes. Yes. Ah. Tim has to add this in. Okay.
This is an important order.
This is a life-saving mission.
Yes, it is.
Life-saving mission of getting him his ale. Like as you come running back, like he's halfway there, like he sees you coming running with the ale. He's like, he leans in closer to Navin, like, is he always like this?
Well, very happy to help people, I would say.
He nods. I understand, but it's a little bit too much. Thank you very much, Kowèn. I could have waited until we were in the tavern, though, but
Oh,
thank you nonetheless.
oh.
I need to find a very...
Thank you, my lord.
He kind of looks at you. Who told him?
You were dying. I needed to play with cards I had on the table.
Told you he doesn't like to
Listen.
talk about it.
He
They
looks to
are
Kowèn.
much more. They are much more willing to treat a lord than a commoner. We both know this. There are
Yes.
perks to the job.
Yes, Garrus, but I am Lord only in name. He looks to Kowèn. Please, don't... If you treat me like a lord, I will stop being your friend.
The harsh words, considering Cohen pretty much dragged you all the way to the Wailing Woods, showing
And
you
I am
survived.
No,
thankful for it, but
That was no problem. That was okay.
he looks to Navin. This man has a very serious issue with people in more power than him. Now that he knows that I'm a lord, he's probably going to have the instinct of following whatever I say. That is not something that I want.
Understandable.
Hey,
So-
Cohen, I made up the lord thing completely.
He looks to Garrus and, like, as a payment back, Cohen, Garrus is also a lord.
If you consider the disinherited son of the family a lord, sure.
I mean, you're still a noble family in Altwick.
Yes, a name only.
You
Not
at
like
least.
you, actually.
So, now that you know that you have people around you who have high status in a country that really doesn't matter, could we let it go and please just act like 5 friends?
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you to do something, and you're not gonna do it.
What's that?
Take this ale and run back to the tavern.
I reach out towards it
Yeah.
and try to take it, but I'm.
Oh, you
Do it.
tried to take. Oh, you tried to take it.
Yeah, at first
He
I tried.
splashes it in your face.
Oh.
He just. He's like, "That's what you get. Let's go and get better ale than this. I'll pay." And Karen, thank you for getting me through.
Thank you.
He's like, maybe I shouldn't have tossed ale. Sorry, I didn't think that through.
No, it's. I've had worse.
Oh.
Yeah, everyone goes like, oh.
Aw, suddenly that's sad.
I will shape water the alcohol
Yeah.
off. That's all right.
Oh, thank you.
You get back to the tavern, and actually tavern this time, and step inside. And this time that you have time to look around, like it's definitely fine. It's a very nice establishment. It has. You see how the tables have all actually been made like into the floor planks. So either that they've placed large wooden blocks and then carved things out, but it doesn't have like floor plank. Everything looks to be like one solid form here, which makes it looks amazing. The tavern keep kind of looks at Kowèn as you come back with the people, and he's like, "Tankards, please."
Did I have it with me?
I mean, you took his ale. You took
I
the ale.
know,
You did.
but-
You took the ale in the tankard, but no, you don't have it. Like Kristof probably has it. At
Okay.
the moment. So he's Kristof kind of you mean this? I'm assuming, and he kind of extends it onto your face. Oh, your face. What? Onto the bar as he sits down. He looks to Garrus. You still a wine man?
If you have any left over, I'm feeling like a Cheblon today. Preferably
This would be-
something aged 15, 20 years.
So we have them. I haven't put the prices yet, but this would be the ones that exist. Good sir, we'll take 2 Avengians, please. Wine or ale for you others.
You know me, ale man.
Have a wine.
Take a corn. 3 Avengian. He looks to Kowèn. Ale, wine. Both.
Sure.
Would you have a mead?
So, 4 Avengians. Take 3 corns, and that will be it. The innkeeper, like as you're saying, mead. This is a fine establishment, sir.
Then you've obviously never had good mead.
Well, we could discuss it to length, but I assure you that the things that we serve have a better quality of whatever it is that you can find when it comes to meat.
Fair enough.
You get these like nice glasses come put out towards you. The Avengian, just like the smell from it, this like very red, deep, like black currant smell comes whiffing up from it. Garrett, you've had this before, and it is amazing wine. And the corn also very dark and roasty taste to it, and very strong as well. You sit down, and like as like the glasses come, he's like, Kristof, any fresh food on the stove? Meat, please, for all of us. Kind of just nods and right, and walks off into the kitchen.
So the Council of 5 are likely responsible for what we saw in the forest.
He looks at you. Why? I'm sorry, guys, but it seems like a very long conclusion to think that the entire thing is responsible for it when you see a name.
A name of 5 people. Mage guilds like this, they are always interconnected. Unless somebody has taken his place, I have some doubts on whether or not his colleagues would not be familiar with his work.
I understand what you're saying. I myself personally don't really have a lot of information how the inner workings of a mage guild works, but all I know is that the family next door to ours could be plotting something, and we would have no idea about it. And we would sit and eat with them almost every day, meet the children, talk with their parents, and go on walks or sparring with the sons. And we would have no idea that they were all that time plotting to undermine us and to make sure that we fall. People have secrets.
My one concern is that, given how you've said that this is something that is a fairly large portion of Arctic nobles are enveloped in,
Yes.
it seems to me like a larger organization would be a better fit than one random wizard in one large town.
Could barely call this a town, but yes, I understand. And what I think comes down is probably more information is needed, no? When me and Gavin was out and closing the rift, we weren't just rushing straight in and doing things without taking care, right, Navin?
Well, you live and you learn, I suppose. But
I mean, you're not exactly one to talk about it, considering
No.
the state that we found you in. But
No.
your point is well taken.
we learn from our mistakes.
He
Who
takes
is-
a
Who are
good
the shady? Who are the shady fucks that you saw
Oh,
while making your way into the forest?
just good people to be quiet about what you're doing. I spoke to Mirrors, and he made sure that the people that I hired wouldn't speak when they came back, if they came back.
I mean, we found you pretty easily, all things considered.
Yes, but that is also Mirrors talking, I'm assuming. We had an agreement that during my mission, then if people should come asking about me, then he could tell. Because the people coming and looking for me were people that knew what was happening and going on. Whilst after, I would tell him what to say and what to say. Mirrors is a very reliable man as long as he has money in his hand.
Granted, it seems to be a lot of money that he requires to be reliable. But he could give us an in into the workings of, well, a friend.
I do not know what Cyrus or Mirrors knows, unfortunately.
It's not a bad start, I would assume, instead of asking the man himself.
Imagine that, walking up to this Stormire and be like, "Ah, hi.
found
You
a
won't
man."
happen to have been out in a temple depicted to a god of which we know nothing, and
Yeah.
doing some shady shit, right?"
Yes, the reaction would
Speaking of
probably not
which,
be
we have
favorable.
a meeting with the guild sometime, probably later today.
Nods. Recon then, it is.
Probably.
Whilst I am healing, I feel insides aren't as healed as they should be. So, I'll happily stay here and rest whilst you do what it is that you need to do. As you also say this, you realize you are not in the same place where you said that you were. This is a different tavern. The inn that you were supposedly to be is the one down here. So we can probably move back at this point. Yeah, but you'll probably be able to.
Pissed runner shows up like they always give us the wrong goddamn name.
Yeah, so you sit and enjoy the drink, and soon there comes steaming duck out. And like, do you heave your drink? So, yeah, you
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
So like, as you're heaving, like Kristof just orders more. So, like, if you want to get drunk, that is easily fixable.
Yeah.
For
Drunk
the
and
I
tired.
will drink
Good combo.
whatever he puts in front of me. If he tells me to drink, I'm gonna drink.
like, he doesn't tell you to drink.
Yeah,
like, he
it's
just orders them in the middle, and you see the three, like the two wizards and him, just like slowly sip and enjoy it. Navin is probably also heaving because that's
Yeah.
Yeah, then I'm not really no.
Are you drinking? Are you tasting it?
Well, if I'm drinking it, I am heaving it.
Yeah. So you and Navin are probably heaving it. At some point, I think it becomes like a competition, just like between the two of you, just like who can do the most, and like
So
drinks
is
just
heaving just
come.
a word for binging? I haven't heard that
No,
term
heaving
before.
is just
that
like
Yeah, like heave.
just
You just
everything in once.
Just,
Yep.
Yeah.
okay, that must be like a Britishism. I don't
I think
know
the
of a word for
equivalent
that.
is chug in
Yeah.
the US.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Choke heaving. I think both of you can make me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh.
Like especially Navin.
mean-
Navin kind of has it in his blood with these like competitions and like feuds kind of thing.
Is it an ability check?
This is the
No, same.
first time for a very long time that Kowèn even drinks
Yep.
a lot. So
Yep.
if you
Just
want to give
roll
me
me with disadvantage.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
fine.
all.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Still.
Yeah.
Like you're starting to feel that, but I feel that even when Navin kind of stops realizing his limit, I think that Kowèn continues
Yep.
and
Oh,
then
he
just
totally does.
feels, ha! You walk outside around the tavern. Navin probably coming around like the corner, knowing how to hold your drink in another way.
But like,
You see Kowèn just like standing there heaving.
Hey, dude.
just like a reassuring pat on the back, like
Yeah.
okay.
I'm
It's okay.
fine. It's cool. How are you doing? You look really good. I haven't told you
Good.
that, but yeah,
You did well.
it's tight.
It's cold outside.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not that hard, really. Not really. So, like,
Just a reminder that it's like 9 in the morning right now.
Other people
like
walking
noon
by,
at this
like,
point,
Yeah.
don't look at him, don't look at him.
Navin, I haven't told you this, but I really think that you're a cool dude. Whatever the fuck you did back there with the lights and the candles and the talkity, whatever it was super cool. That was like, yeah, that was cool. You kind of remind me of my husband a little bit. I don't know
husband?
why.
What was he like?
Well, he's still alive. I fucking hope so. But yeah, what?
What's he like?
Yeah, he kind of has the same hair as you do, but black. And he's like, the best thing that you can ever possibly hug and be near. Like, it's, yeah.
Your family's important.
Yeah. Do you have someone, is Garrus like your brother? I think you said that, right?
Well,
You don't look so similar.
not by blood, no. But
Oh, you mean like brother. Okay, I got it. Got it.
yes.
Cool.
No, it's he is not. He is essentially my family, but not by blood, but a deeper bond, I would say.
So, like, you could do all that stuff. Where are you from? Like, you don't talk that much.
No, it's a habit that is difficult to get into. I don't know why. Most of the folk are very talkative.
You just
In
have
my-
to be in the right environment, friend.
I suppose. And the ale does help with that, but
Yeah.
where I'm from, life is more harsh, I would say. It is not... We don't spend as much time on the joyous things as people in these places do. We are...
Here.
Yes. Everywhere else is not home, is somewhere else in my heart, but I wish I could go... I don't know if you've heard it. Sana near to the southeast, right? From where we are.
South in the middle, Sar
Yeah.
and near.
Yeah.
So usually, like how it is Sar is like the equivalent of the kingdom of,
Yeah.
and near
Kingdom of,
is the chosen people. So it's like the kingdom of the chosen people.
The kingdom of the chosen people, far south from here. It is a long road to travel. Should you be there, you are sure to see the fine views and a good civilization, honest folk, but raised in harsh conditions. Life is not easy there.
No. That's cool. No, I mean it's not.
No, I understand
Yeah.
what you're saying, Kowèn.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Baster. Baster.
You would have no idea what that is.
I've never been that place. It must be not along the south. I would probably guess somewhere up
Yeah,
north, maybe.
like the holy. You're just like, if this is a map, we're
I sort of
here, right?
look close there, and then realize like, oh, it's just a hand. And like, oh, yeah.
We're here right now,
Yeah.
and where you're
look
from
here.
is like here, and Baster is up there.
I sort of like introspect a bit too long, like, yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
You've traveled
it's
far
not
as well.
much. I mean, but we have a lot of parties there. That was actually my thing.
Sounds nice.
Yeah.
You see like a little kid coming walking down the road next to the tavern, seeing the two of you standing. He's like,
Hey.
Yeah, sort of like give a wave.
like as he's going past, like you see him kind of hurrying, like he's in the middle of the day, strunkers. As he like
Shut up, you
runs
fucking
away.
kid.
Like,
Sorry.
don't worry, I'm 100% with you. I think I need something else to keep all this down.
Yeah, we should get some more, I think. I
Yes,
feel
but-
fine.
Yeah, you've emptied now, so you're good. You're
Yeah.
good.
Like, let's get in there again and just like, do stuff.
To another day.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
Shuffle back in, like,
Yeah. You can both take a D8 of inspiration.
Yeah.
As you come back in, it's like at the same time where the duck comes in, like so you get roasted duck with
God.
vegetables and potatoes.
Yeah.
And it's like you see the food, but it's like you also know like to drink more you kind of need the food.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
your stomach can't really
Yeah.
handle the food at the moment. So it's like
Just
very
gripping hard, yeah.
slowly taking bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can continue the conversation. Like, I think they would be coming in as he's saying this, as he kind of looks to Garrus specifically. I can't believe that Briar will do this. I mean, I understand it, and I know it happened, but to think that the Altwig would have a secret part of the military operating under someone designed to overthrow, undermine Herman, and to give powers through whatever they think they can get through the fucking shadows. It disgusts me, and it ruined you. Imagine if they didn't exist, you would have been a captain. maybe a general minor at this point.
There's no point in regretting what's already passed. But I agree. I don't remember what happened for the country to be led so astray, but for stuff like this to continue to happen in its borders is unacceptable. Where did the world go? Feels like things were so much simpler and narrower.
I've heard that in certain parts of the world, especially in Morian, they're actually progressing. They've started to create diplomatic ties with the goblins, allowing them in their towns without murdering them, and making sure that they care about more humanoids than just us. They've started to flog and even hang those who pursue us or use spell weavers.
Really?
Yes. I've heard that Scylla Hawthorne is doing a good job over there.
All we can do is fight the best we can, I suppose. Take those elements out that not the ones responsible for bringing down the country, so that's all we can do, right?
He kind of sits, scratches his head and if someone high up in Altwick is truly meddling in this, then this isn't the last time that we've run across them. I'm assuming that no, he doesn't actually know anything about that yet. All I know is that no, he wouldn't say that. He kind of turns. So, what was it that you learned from Madame Lysel?
Nothing good. A ton of cryptic prophecies with very little information to go off of. We did run into someone who was a major player in these events, however. Morgan might be more educated on this nature than I am.
Sorry, my mom had to pop in for a second. She had a question about dinner. What did I miss? I missed like 8 seconds of dialogue, and then I heard my name.
The last part is like he's asking you to talk about Anton.
About who?
Anton.
Let me just. Anton Valois was exiled from Lamenta for. They don't exactly like to talk.
Anton Valois.
Anton Valois. Have you heard the name?
Yes. I have seen the name. He kind of looks. I know that this hurts hearing about, but when we were in the army, even though we had the same rank, I have more privilege than you because of our blood. Briar sometimes allowed me to sift through the reports. And I remember one of them, I only saw the bottom of it, but I very clearly remember the name of Anton Valois.
And what about?
Why? What was on the report? What was the nature of it?
Yeah. He came in and he took the stack away. It was just before we went to the portal, the day before. It might be connected.
Absolutely is. Antoine Valois has been trying to converge the Shadowfell with the material. From what I understand, might be better for Morgan to explain this. He has a better grasp on it than I do, unfortunately.
We encountered Anton Valois after we shipwrecked in the Corsair archipelago. He had arranged to have our ship wrecked because the captain carried an object that could locate a series of artifacts. These artifacts are the pieces of a seal constructed about 2 millennia ago. If we can assemble all of those pieces, we can reconstruct the seal and prevent the Shadowfell and the material plane from colliding.
Hypothetically, I want to get my hands on one of the seals itself to figure out what exactly it does. But
Well, as far as we can tell, that is the purpose of those fragments. Anton Valois also wants the artifacts, but we have reason to suspect that he merely wants to possess them to prevent anyone from using them for their intended purpose. That he wants the Shadowfell and the material plane to merge.
it is possible that the artifacts are responsible for separating the planes or serve some other purpose. Lady Lysel was not entirely clear, but gave her opinions as such.
So, what you're saying is that these things, is that what Anton is looking for then?
Likely.
As best as we can tell, yes. Considering that when he encountered him, he killed for a thing, for an artifact, where all it would do is let you find other artifacts.
It should be notable that despite us making our intentions against the Shadowfell very clear, Antoine decided to spare our lives when he could have very easily murdered us all in cold blood.
My guess was he didn't consider us enough of a threat to waste the energy.
Or, considering the rare nature that some of us possessed, he believed that we would be instrumental to furthering his goals,
Also very
despite
possible.
our intentions.
You see him kind of close his eyes. I hope that I remember wrong and it wasn't his name that I saw in that report. Because that would mean that the person looking for the same things we are has control over parts of, or is at least in bed with, a secret organization within the Altwickian army who is probably looking to overthrow the Empire. This can't. You just see him like shake his head. This can't get any worse.
Insert Kowèn and Navins.
Yeah. when he laughs, it's like, ha ha!
Are
This-
we nearby?
So,
Yeah, you're sitting next to the table, just probably talking like it's probably them
What?
three, at the party,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
talking.
And we're just
Then you
looking,
two are just
yeah.
sitting there very loudly talking.
Yeah.
But these three are just ignoring you and like talking amongst
Oh,
themselves
okay.
almost.
did
Think
they
of at least-
catch... They're not drunk, are they?
Yes, very much so.
It is... What time? It is noon. Why are they...
Like, that's totally the thing I would go for, but I can't tell what you're gonna go for. And is there a girl you like? Do you have or? Hey, come on!
That's a secret I'll take to my grave.
I tell you will. I'll make sure you won't, Mister.
But things are in dire straits, I agree.
What?
Never mind them.
The only thing we can do is take what actions are necessary to prevent this from coming to pass.
Which leaves us with then one thing. Collect the seal, did you say it was, Morgan?
Of some sort.
So we have to collect the seal before Anton and whatever resources it is that he has available to himself. But as you said, what if that is what he wants?
I want to take it to the master and spend some time deciding one seal once we manage to get our hands on one. But
That would
Well-
require us to get our hands on one.
I do?
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting right next to him. It's just like up to you if you hear it or not.
Okay, yeah. After a while, I'll lean in very, very uncomfortably close towards Kristof and just...
He like puts his finger on your head, probably like pushes you back a little bit.
You wanna hear a funny fucking thing?
He like looks at you. Sure.
Yes, yes, yes.
The Anton, that guy. He's not the only one who wants us to do shit for him. We have a literal fucking god that wants us to do it too. And if we don't, they're gonna kill me again. Suck on that. Yeah.
He like looks very confused at this. How many drinks have?
Come on,
Yeah.
tell them, Morgan. You know that too. You were there. That was fucking hilarious, don't you think? That was the best fucking day of my life.
As much as it pains me to agree with you in this state, he's right. There's something going on with us and the Shadowfell. I don't know enough to be able to say anything for certain, which is why it hurts me so much.
they threatened Kowèn with their life if we didn't retrieve these items.
I already died. Work that shit out.
Ignore him for the
he
moment.
decided to come back and just say, hey dude, yeah, if you don't do what I want you to, then I'm gonna take you and fucking bury you in the sand again. Yeah. So
Navin
that's
sort of
good.
pokes Cohen's like,
Yeah.
you don't seem dead.
What? No, am I? Maybe you're dead. Have you
I
considered
think maybe the two of you should go to sleep.
Barkeep, water, please, as much as you can manage.
I like that. Should we fall asleep?
Do you
right
even
here?
ask the barkeeper? Do you just like shake water out of somewhere into their cups? Just like
I'll shape
Yeah.
water out of it.
suddenly, like as you're taking the next drink, it's just like water. It's like
What? That's not funny. Bad joke.
he kind of
And I'm
nods.
out. And I fall asleep.
Yeah. It's like Kristof kind of just shaking his head. I think my brother has something to do with this. Either he knows something, or it's something to do with us. As in my family.
Your family would not want you to become heir.
No, what I mean is the day when you got wounded, I was there. There was a rift. Shit happened. Pulled you out. Rift close. Now my brother came to that temple. There was a rift.
It happened.
It's just a theory. It might have to do with us, but no matter what, my brother is gone. We have this name, Grenardus. There's just too much. I can't make sense of it.
I think the only thing to do is to find somebody who knows more about the Mage Guild than we do.
Which would be the Mage Guild themselves.
Or our criminal friends.
I guess I can go and talk to Mirrors. However, he is going to need payment.
How much?
He looks over. Probably the equivalent of one of those items that was found.
Which items?
The goods we found in the temple.
Did we tell him about those?
No, you didn't. It's just him forgetting that you didn't tell him. I mean, he would probably see that one of you have a
came
fucking
in.
trident on your backs, and you might have. Let's say that you told him between the when they were doing the RP on the outside. Did you have time to Have you had time to identify them yet? No, you haven't.
Don't think so, but
No.
just
You can-
me, but no,
Yeah.
it's like, well, none of us are proficient in polearms. You favor a hammer, most of us favor spellcraft. I'd say we could probably spare to lose this once we've at least made sure it's not... Whatever.
The god-killing trident of that.
Let's say that you have taken this time and can identify it, because Morgan has been kind of focused on his own thing. So maybe he's been identifying the items and found out what they are. Which would probably also be nice of being able to... Like, you have the Gloves of Thievery, which allows people to pick locks very efficiently.
And pockets.
And pockets. So that is a very good thing for a thief skill to have, and that could probably be dangled very nicely. Of course, Kowèn, however, now unfortunately blacked out, might want it. But
I was planning on... As soon as I learned just what they were, I was planning on presenting them to Kowèn as a gift.
Yeah.
So I would want to hang on to those to give to him.
Yeah.
Thanks for the gift.
Yeah. I think that we're gonna wrap it up here with without a cliffhanger for once.
Thank God.
No anxiety.
You know what? The door opens and you see Anton Valois walk. And
Come on! Boo.
Don't you dare.
Bad cliff, bad plot twist.
Kristof pulls off his face. I was a simulacrum.
Yep.
Oh my god, people. Yep, this was awesome.
That was fun.
Range of emotions, to say the least.
I would
Very
like to
wide
thank,
one.
Anybody who has stuck around and watched the show. We will continue next week on Tuesday. And if you want to catch one of the other shows, you will find this stream schedule in the channel. And also, if you join the Discord, you will find all of us there, where we do memes and other funny things.
I have one quick thing to say before we go off air.
Sure.
My boyfriend's in the chat. Hi.
Awesome. Well,
Right.
thank you very
guys.
much, and see you, everyone.
See you next week.
See you guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
Peace.